Yeah. You don't get to look away anymore. Not after what we've seen. Not after what we know. Can't sugarcoat evil, I refuse to disguise. Truth hit different when you look in their eyes. Little shoes on the staircase cold. Teddy bear stories that were never told. Paper trails buried deep in the vault. Everyone pointing fingers, not my fault. Money moves quiet, power moves slick. Smiles on TV while the system's sick. High walls, black cars, tinted glass. Closed door meetings, let the scandals pass. You say conspiracy to silence the room, but the victims ain't theories, they carry the wounds. We were distracted, divided by noise, arguing headlines, girls and boys. Meanwhile, predators leverage position, protected by status, wealth and tradition. If justice blind, who tied the cloth? Who benefits most when the truth gets lost? If power's clean, then why the fear? When sealed up, pages start coming near.
Wake up, no more shadows, no more silence, no more halos. You can't hide behind the fame. If you fed the fire, you share the flame. Wake up, hear that sound, that's the truth. Breaking ground for every child who lost their life. We stand up, we fight tonight.
400,000 missing a year. Tell me why the number don't trigger fear. Why the outrage fade in a week? Why the strong stay silent when the small can't speak? Institutions polished in gold, preaching mercy but the record's cold. If you knew and turned away, silence made you complicit that day. Not left, not right, this ain't a side. Evil don't care about party lines. It's about power abused in dark, about stolen futures before they start. Ballrooms, back rooms, private flights, handshakes hidden from public sight. If your wealth was built on pain, history gon' carve your name. Truth don't die, it waits its turn. Every lie got a fuse that burns. When it sparks, don't act surprised. We warned you once, we're done being quiet.
Wake up, no more shadows, no more silence, no more halos. You can't hide behind the fame. If you fed the fire, you share the flame. Wake up, hear that cry, that's a child asking why. For every tear that fell unseen, we breaking chains, we intervene.
Don't call it hate when we call out wrong. Protecting children ain't extreme, it's strong. You uncomfortable, good, sit with it. Truth ain't gentle when it's explicit. If the stage was bright, but the deals were dark. If the laughter masked a predator's mark. If you profited off the broken and small, the reckoning coming for one and all. No more heroes called from lies. No more idols we idolize. Character measured by what you defend, not the image you try to send. This ain't vengeance, this is guard duty. Standing 10 toes for human dignity. If you righteous, then stand with us. If you guilty, start feeling the rush because the tide turning. You feel that shift. No more shielding, the powerful click. Every child worth more than gold, and we the generation bold.
Hold the line, protect the young. No more deals behind closed doors done. If we the people, prove it now, not someday later, not somehow. Love ain't passive, faith ain't blind. Reflected in our eyes. Wake up, hear that sound, that's the system shaking down. For every child who lost their life, we stand up, we fight tonight.
over the mountain line. Coffee's hot and I'm feeling fine. Walking through rows that are grown with care. Sweet little flowers, perfume there. 8 years tending this patch of green. Medicine's the way I've always seen. No hurry, no race, no nose at parade. Just another good day that Bubba made. Slow your roll, take a breath. Life ain't always gotta run at full speed. Bubba sets the tone today. Everything just melts away. Coffee, sunshine, cedar trees, mountain air and easy breeze. Smiling while I'm walking around. Got my feet up on the ground. If life gets loud, I simply say, Bubba sets the tone today. Bubba sets the tone today. Hey! These ain't trophies sitting on a shelf. This is medicine to help myself. Tiny crystals, orange hairs. Nature put a little kindness there. One good flower can change the pace. Put a smile right back on your face. Ain't about escaping where I've been. It's about feeling whole again. Turn the worries down, turn the music up, see the spell, fill your cup. Sometimes healing looks a whole lot like a peaceful afternoon. Bubba sets the tone today, chasing heavy thoughts away. Fields are green and skies are blue, simple things will see you through. No big speech and no campaign, just a little sunshine after rain. From the porch you'll hear me say, Bubba sets the tone today. Bubba sets the tone today. Every morning with the rising sun, blessed Savior, faithful through the darkest night. But beyond the gates of glory, beyond the streets of purest gold, my heart longs for the Father's presence, where love has never cold. I'm keeping an eye on the horizon, for the day my faith becomes my sight. Like a watchman standing on the wall, I know my Lord will keep his call. I don't know the day or hour, but I trust his sovereign power. So I'll love my neighbor while I wait. Share his mercy, his amazing grace. Planting seeds in every heart I can, until he says, come home, my friend. I'm keeping an eye on the horizon, where the morning kisses heaven's light. with my father's stay. I'm keeping an eye on the horizon. Every promise shining bright. Soon the trumpet will be sounding, turning faith into eternal sight. I'll fall before my risen Savior. Thank Him for amazing grace. Then with every saint, through every age, we'll worship the Father face to face. I'm keeping an eye on the horizon until heaven calls my name. The journey ends where love began, forever praising the great I am.
Well, good afternoon and welcome back to Hawk's Mustard Seeds. Yep, I hope you're having an awesome day wherever you're joining us from. And as always, thanks for taking a little time out of your busy schedule to spend it here with me. Today, we're going to take a look at the biggest stories making headlines, the regular BS that we see rolling across our screens. It's actually funny. I kind of like how Cola puts it with the doom scrolling kind of thing, you know. But we're talking about the developments surrounding Iran, Middle East, what those events can mean for energy prices. Wall Street kind of got fueled by technology and AI, and they're having a really strong market day. Not that I really give two craps about Wall Street because it's just a bunch of rich people getting richer and richer and losing more money on people's retirement funds and things like that. It's kind of annoying. But after we cover all that, we'll head into X here and go through my feed and take a look at the posts and the stuff that's keeping people's attention today. And it seems kind of funny. They seem to be changing it up pretty quick. But before we get started, I wanted to make sure that everybody is having a truly blessed day. I I got started a little bit late. Normally I have time to play a little bit more music and stuff, but um, maybe I'm just kind of having a weird day. I don't know if it's just me or if it's just everybody. And I mean, this is why I'm going to say this. With everything that we have gone through in these last 10 years, we have been beaten, abused, and used in many, many ways. A good portion of us. And it wears you down. Whether it was fighting with your family about the vax, or it was fighting with your family about politics, or it just everything seems to have this loop de loop, you know, you know, and I look at it like this, keep your eyes on the horizon, because the things that are passing away from being around us that feed so much negativity into us, as those things are passing away, as they're going away, when people leave your life, they're not leaving because they absolutely choose to. They're leaving because they're following instructions from somebody that you're not listening to. That you're not listening to. And what do I mean by that? Our Father guides us and directs us in ways of, because he knows our heart, right? He knows our heart. And because God knows our heart, he sends his shepherd to guide you through things and walk you through things and walk people out of your life, out of your path. Sometimes those obstacles can be really, really close to you. And it's kind of like a gut punch. But sometimes that person walks away not because of something that you did, but because of something they could not do. Something that they could not do. So they're led away. They're no longer an obstacle now. You have internal feelings, okay? And those internal feelings should always and only be reflected at one. And who is that one? It's not Jesus. Our focus is on Jesus, yes, because he's our shepherd. But where is Jesus leading us to? He's leading us to the Father. So give these things to God, to our Heavenly Father, to the greatest creator. Because the things that have been created by man and those that influenced man, those things don't work out. So from the perspective of understanding that obstacles being removed from your path is not a punishment to you. It's not a punishment to you. It is clearing your way. That's one less obstacle between you and Father. And I know that might sound a little harsh, okay, in some ways. But at the same time, we understood that you cannot always change the perception of others. You cannot, well, it's that old saying, you can't lead, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Right? So when we talk about things, in our general life, our general relationships. Things like forgiveness can be a very, very hard thing for somebody to achieve. Okay. Especially when they knew that they were the one that was wrong and they know it. So forgiving you becomes second fiddle to the fact that they have to find a way to forgive themselves for the damage that was done in the first place. So when you look at these things, you always got to turn around and you give it to Father. And then Father, well, it might take a little time because you got to remember it takes time to get messages to you. And sometimes it takes time for your knuckle brain heads to accept the message from Father. So understand that somebody not following through with something is not on you. That is on them. That is on them. That's not on you. So don't beat yourself up because anger becomes a cycle, right? You're mad at the person for whatever they did, right? But then you turn around and you get mad at yourself because of the fact that you got mad about it. Okay. And then you get mad at that person again. And then you're back mad at yourself again. And it's a cycle. It'll eat up your day. It'll eat up your time. And it'll eat up your energy. We're all better than that. So when other people are not meeting you halfway, sometimes it's because they're going a different direction. And you have to let that happen. Things, as time goes on, and as more things are proven out and things begin to happen in a very beneficial way for each and every one of us, that'll be another story, right? But in the meantime, we often find ourselves sitting in the misery of others. And we don't need that in our lives. We don't. We're better than that. He made us in his image. And, however, I think he might have made a couple mistakes with aging. It'd have been nice if we didn't have to lose so much to get old. Tooth here, hair, bald spot here, aches, pains there. I think you could have done a little better job in building this, But then again, that also brings us to looking at things from the perspective of they've been lying to us for years, and our natural ability to heal has been curtailed by the things that they've done to us, right? And it's like, how do we see past this? You think about all the different ways of division, and earlier in an earlier conversation, I said, Christ said, he says, I came to divide every house. I came to divide every house, 2 against 3 and 3 against 2. Those who are willing and do in fact believe, and then those who just don't. We see things in a different perspective, and that's all I'm trying to do is just get people to see it. Look at it from God's perspective. Him sitting up there saying, y'all knock it off. You remember when your parents, you'd be going at your brothers or sisters, and you guys would be going back and forth and everything, and your parents just turn around and say, "Well, y'all knock it off." Sometimes, actually, I think that might even be my next song. Y'all knock it off. You know, everybody got too much time for hate. Everybody got too much time for misery. Stop it. We have enough shit going on in our real lives. We don't need all that other crap. Knock it off. Yeah. Let's talk about God's greatest soldiers.
Mike Tyson said, God's greatest soldiers are also the devil's favorite. Yes. And I tell people that have addictions, the guy that was in prison, you made it this far because you're God's soldier. So now if you think, unfortunately, a lot of us can't think spiritually. So if you think spiritually, good, evil, if the good team has a powerful player, the evil team is going to do everything they can to take that player out. Everything it can. Let's try giving them fame. Let's try giving them a drug addiction. Let's try making this person get someone pregnant and we screw their life up for a while. Let's try to make them resentful. Let's try to make them angry. Let's try to make them go out of character and get in a fight. Let's mess with their emotions. Let's take out someone they love in their life and crush them and turn them away from their maker. The devil hates good souls. Mike Tyson said, God.
I'm going to play that again because I think that this message is absolutely spot on. And Jim Brewer, I got to tell you, brother, I really like your content. I really, really love your content. You are a no holds barred kind of guy, and I love that. And someday if I ever get to meet you in person live, I would shake your hand for the incredible work that you have done for fellow patriots and your love for God. You inspire many people. So I give you props for that. I'm going to play this again because I think that this is a very impactful message.
Mike Tyson said, God's greatest soldiers are also the devil's favorite. Yes. And I tell people that have addictions, the guy that was in prison, you made it this far because you're God's soldier. So now if you think, unfortunately, a lot of us can't think spiritually. So if you think spiritually, good, evil, if the good team has a powerful player, the evil team is going to do everything they can to take that player out. Everything it can. Let's try giving them fame. Let's try giving them a drug addiction. Let's try making this person get someone pregnant and we screw their life up for a while. Let's try to make them resentful. Let's try to make them angry. Let's try to make them go out of character and get in a fight. Let's mess with their emotions. Let's take out someone they love in their life and crush them and turn them away from their maker. The devil hates good souls. Mike Tyson said,
I mean, that is a powerful message in 56 seconds. 56 seconds. That's all it takes. 56 seconds to deliver an impactful message. And it took me 10 minutes of ranting about. That's not funny. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. All right. All right. So let's see. I got some stuff from let's see. Let's get on. Ease on down the road. I gotta click on that one. That helps. All right. I've got some things. I got some stuff. I got stuff. We'll get back to the other stuff, for the other side of that stuff in a couple of minutes here. But there were a few things that caught my eye last night and early this morning. And I wanted to share it with you. By the way, when that rain came in, I slept so good. I'm telling you, you guys have no idea. That rain came in and I slept so good. And then we got a little bit more. And it was absolutely perfect. It was the creme de la creme, I guess we'd call it. All right, and that's where we left off, right? Okay. Now, this is where we're going to start off today. By the way, hi everybody. I just kind of went into my opening monologue and rant and all that, and yeah, if you missed it, you might want to go back and listen to it. I think it was okay. I'm not sure. Sometimes I'll like, did I say that? I do. I watch back the podcast sometimes to see what I say because if I make a mistake, I like to correct it the next time that I'm on, and so. But I've been trying to keep an eye tightly on the news, but it's been I really needed the rest. Basically. 2 days with the amount of sleep that I got, and I slept great last night too. I went to bed at about 11 o'clock, and I got up at 8 o'clock. So yeah, I got a little bit more than 8 hours. And the thing is normally I don't need that. Normally it's just 2-3 hours, and I'm up, and then I'll take a nap about halfway through the day for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and normally I'm good with that, but my body was just absolutely exhausted. And it was like I was going through posts and everything, and it was like nothing was clicking in my head. Absolutely, but nothing was clicking in my head. And I was just like, you know what? I just need to turn this machine off and go back to bed. And that's what I did. And I'm glad that I did. Yeah, exposing the music industry. And it's and this kid, again, it all boils down to you have a couple of minutes to do this, and can you bring your point across in a short enough period of time where you can keep people's attention? This is another example of that. This kid does a great job.
You ever wonder why so many celebrities lose their minds? Why they overdose? Why they kill themselves? It's not the pressure of fame. That's the cover story. It's the rituals. It's the things they make you do to prove you're loyal, to prove you'll keep secrets, to prove they own you. You think those are conspiracy theories? You think every single artist who made it big just happened to start covering one eye and start wearing horns and doing upside down crosses for fashion? You think it's a coincidence that the most successful ones all end up looking dead inside, like something's wearing their skin? They're harvesting something. Energy, adoration, attention. The focused will of millions of people directed at one point. That's power. That's real power. And they know how to use it. The frequencies in the music now, it's not just the lyrics, it's the tuning. They changed the standard tuning from 432 hertz, which resonates with the natural world, with the universe, with your heart, with your soul, with your healing. They changed it to 440 hertz. Discordant, agitating. It puts you on edge. It makes you anxious. It makes you spend more. It makes you more irritated. It makes you fight with people. It makes you hate yourself. And you don't even know why. You just know you feel like shit all the time. And the only thing that helps is more music, more content, more distraction, more consuming. They've created a feedback loop. Trauma-based music creates traumatized people. Traumatized people need more music to numb out. The artists making the music are traumatized by the industry. They make more trauma music. Round and round it goes. Everyone's getting rich except the artists who are dying. And the listeners who are dying inside slower, becoming zombies, becoming unable to feel anything real because their nervous systems are fried from constant overstimulation. And you know the way out? You have to stop consuming. That's the first step. Stop letting them program you. Stop letting them decide what frequency your body vibrates at. Delete the apps. Cancel the subscriptions. Listen to the songs you love in different frequencies. Stop giving your attention to people who hate you, who want you weak, who profit from your confusion. And then you have to create. Not for them, for yourself, for the people around you. Make music that heals. Make art that tells the truth without glamorizing the poison. Support independent artists who still own their souls. Buy their music directly. Go to their shows. Build a culture outside the machine. And protect your frequency. Be careful what you listen to. Be careful what you let into your ears because it's going straight into your subconscious. Your brain doesn't have a firewall. It believes whatever it hears repeated enough times. Fill it with truth. Fill it with nature sounds. Fill it with silence, which is the frequency of God, if you believe in that. The music industry is dying anyways. The streaming model killed the golden goose. They're desperate now. That's why the music's getting darker, weirder, more overtly degenerate, and more satanic. They don't even hide it anymore because they know most people are too checked out to notice. But you noticed. You're watching this. That means you're awake. That means you have a responsibility to stay awake and help others wake up. Lucifer was a musician. The siren sang. The industry is just the latest incarnation of something ancient and evil that knows exactly how powerful sound is. That's why most executives in the music industry worship Baal. Do not let them use your gift against you. Don't let them turn your pain into product. Don't let them tune your soul to their frequency. Create, protect, resist, survive, alchemize, cherish, heal. And let me be crystal fucking clear here because I know somebody's going to twist my words. I am not saying music is evil. Music is probably the most sacred thing we have access to as humans. It's the actual language of creation. The universe hums, planets vibrate, creatures vibrate, we vibrate, your DNA sings. Every cell in your body is literally vibrating at frequencies that correspond to musical notes. It's energy. Everything is music because everything is energy. When you make music with pure intention to heal, when you're not performing for an algorithm or an agenda or a paycheck, but because something within you, something real inside you needs to get out, you're participating in the divine. You are letting the frequency of God and the universe flow through you naturally, through creation and the alchemization of turning pain into art. You're touching the fabric of reality. You're doing what Lucifer did before he fell. Channeling beauty, channeling light, channeling truth through sound. That's why they had to corrupt it. That's why they built an entire industry around trapping that divine energy and twisting it into something that serves death instead of life. The music industry, Lucifer's fall, the sirens on the rock. It's all the same playbook. They are all part of the same ancient deception, the same interdimensional control system that knows if humanity ever remembered our true power, if we ever started singing together again with clear hearts and clean frequencies, we would be uncontrollable. We would heal ourselves. We would heal the planet. We would remember who we actually are. We would cure all illness. So they had to get in between us and the music. They had to own it, package it, tune it wrong, fuck with the frequencies, fill it with lies, make us forget that we don't need them to access the divine, tampered with it, make us forget that we don't need them to access the divine. We never did. The music is holy. The industry is the parasite that latched onto it. Know the difference.
Yeah, like, yeah, it's smart kid. It's like, yeah, this one here.
You ever wonder why so many celebrities lose their minds? Why
going into my bookmarks? Because I think it's, oh wow, I can download the video.
You ever wonder why so many celebrities lose their minds? Why they overdose? Why they kill themselves? It's not the pressure of fame. That's the cover story. It's the rituals. It's the things they make you do to prove you're loyal, to prove you'll keep secrets, to prove.
I'm gonna save that one. That one, I'm gonna put that up. I'll put that up on the other platforms. Yeah, that was good. But I'll drop the link in here for all of you, and you can actually go to it yourself. If you want to, if you feel like it. All right. And yeah. So, all right, we're going that way. All right. Now, Carly Bonet gets us started on the Fauci ouchie. Oh boy, here we go.
I mean, they used extreme positioning of Fauci to reshape so much, reshape the way we think about a pandemic, how to care for ourselves, reshape election laws, changing outcomes. And China was a beneficiary. I mean, there's so much here, Senator. Does the White House have have they retrieved any documentation? Have you retrieved any documentation that shows that that Fauci was aware, that Joe Biden was aware, and could the DOJ test the validity of that pardon? Rand Paul says that it is such an extensive pardon, similar to the pardon that he gave his son, Hunter Biden, which we're going to talk about with James Freeman coming up.
Yeah, so Maria, that's all. You know, in my opinion, yes, I think there is evidence that should be investigated, and but this would take a special counsel to diving all of them, even just the validity of this auto pen pardon. I mean, I understand that maybe on some rules that maybe the president didn't have to sign in with his own pen, but this auto pen was being ran by somebody else. So,
yeah, it was being ran by somebody else. We know. And then here we go. Oh boy, this is good. RFK on CNN and Dana Bash. I think that this, you know, and I remember all of the criticisms that she had for anti-vaxxers and everything. This is this is
absolutely not. First of all, this is an international outbreak. So, and we're doing better at handling it than any country in the world. Mexico has 15 times the amount of measles per capita that we have. Canada has 4 times the amount of measles. England has 2 times the amount of measles. Did I cause those measles outbreaks?
You're the most famous.
Did I cause 137,000 cases?
You're the most famous vaccine skeptic on the planet.
Let me tell you, because actually Anthony Fauci in his diaries answers the question about why we're having a measles outbreak right now. The reason we're having a measles outbreak because of the COVID lockdowns, because people children during that period did not get vaccinated. And in his diaries, he says this is going to cause massive outbreaks of measles and more children. He says this are going to die. Let me finish, because you could accuse me of something. Now, let me.
No, I didn't. I asked you a question.
Yeah, let me give you the answer. He says in his diaries, more children are going to die from measles because of these lockdowns than COVID. So if you want to know, and that age group that should have gotten the MMR when they were 18 months and didn't get it. They're the ones being infected. The people in this country, and we have stopped the outbreaks at record speed in South Carolina, in Texas, in Utah, in Virginia. We've done better than any country in the world. I dispatch immediately the epidemic intelligence services to those states. I get on the phone with the governor and we stop them in their tracks. Nobody else has been able to do that.
You have a bully pulpit.
Let me tell you just one last thing.
Go ahead.
The communities that are suffering from measles are almost all religious communities that just don't vaccinate. The Mennonites have not vaccinated since 1796, since Edward Jenner invented the smallpox vaccine. It's hard to blame that. I mean, as much as you want to blame
No,
it
I don't want to blame you. I'm asking you because you have a very powerful voice on these issues for people who are skeptical. Let me finish. Let me finish.
And I've never questioned the efficacy of the MMR vaccine.
Okay.
Yep. It was one of the few that he stood up for. There were others that he was absolutely against because he believed that they caused autism, and rightfully so. And I have to agree with him. From the medical studies that were hidden that have been released now, yeah, there's a whole lot there. And now with Fauci's diary, that even puts more things.
I am not saying that the entire way that the COVID reaction was accurate. It was a scary time and people made mistakes. Absolutely.
You were scaring people.
Why are you saying that?
Because that was the job of CNN.
Okay.
Was to put the
stop.
chyrons up about how many people are
We
dying.
were trying to we were
to
listening to the leaders in this country, including the president, who had a daily press conference explaining what was going on and trying to listen.
Were you listening?
I want to talk to measles.
Actually, were you reading
the measles
yourself?
The measles. I am not saying that the entire way that the COVID.
So it's, we were listening to. No, you weren't. You were bashing the president for decisions that he was making. You were bashing him about ivermectin. You were bashing him about hydroxychloroquine. Every one of you belong in prison. Every one.
Well, there you have it, America. It has now made its way into Gatlinburg. So you can now go to the mosque right in the middle of Gatlinburg. Oh, did you also know that they're building a huge one out in Wares Valley? They're trying to hide it. They're saying, no, it's going to be a shopping center with a drive-through beer store. But it's not. If you look at what it's going to be intended for, it's intended for worship and prayer. But yet they're saying it's for beer and shopping to hide it. If you don't think this is not a hostile takeover, then I can't help you anymore. Look, I know this video is not going to get many views. I'll be lucky if it even hits 1,000. They have been blocking everything that I have posted lately. But if you don't start standing up to this soon, we're not going to have anything to stand up to it because nobody's stopping them. Why would they stop if every time you turn on the television?
I never thought I'd see the day where a Muslim mosque was opening in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, but here we are. It is open, and if we look at the images here, it is not very big. It's more of like an upstairs prayer room, but it is classified as a mosque, and Muslims can go there and pray. It's really wild that this is happening in Tennessee. Here are some details on that smaller mosque, but just to speak on this larger one that he's referencing in the video, this is in Wares Valley. As far as AI is concerned, there's no evidence to support that this is actually happening, that there's another mosque that's being built at this location. But again, there are locals that are saying that it is being built at the location, but it's just being disguised as a different project. So if that is the case, then there would not be publicly available documents on this to support that. Best case scenario, this is not happening. Worst case scenario, it is a hidden project and it is happening, like what the local people who live there are saying. So this is at the very least something to keep your eye on.
Yeah, see now, this is the thing, is he said, he says, per AI, there is no links, okay? But there were no links to Epic City being all Muslim until it was almost too late. Right? So,
well, there you
And then
You have it, America.
Okay, let's see. So Nick Sotor is having a hard time. Leftists formed a BLM autonomous zone in Madison, Wisconsin, and threatened to kill Nick Sotor. Leave before your life ends out here. There's a whole team of us. The raid the entire place now. Law and order must prevail. So.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Get out of here. No, do not talk, do not. Just no, I'm not talking, no, I'm just trying to get in my car. No, I'm just trying to get in my car. I just want to, just let me get in the car. That's it. That's all I want. That's it. I'm leaving. Like, no, that's all. I'm just trying to get in the car, bro. I'm trying to, just please.
Before your life ends out here.
Can we?
Hurry up and leave.
No,
it's a whole team of us.
I understand it. Can
now end this shit.
Can we just, dude, that's what I'm trying to do.
End this shit. Get in the car.
Is this your car?
Get in the car.
Is this your car? Yes, sir. I don't ask questions twice. Get in your car. I just don't want to get hurt. Get in your car. Yes, sir. Okay. Yep, we're good. We're good.
You scary piece of white kite, bitch. You reported to the police, hoe.
Whoa,
Get out of here.
Whoa.
Get out of here.
No.
So, yep. And me, I'd have been reaching into the car for something. Yep. That'd have been the end of it. You come up threatening my life. That's it. You're done. Toast. I don't care. It's preservation of life. It's called stand your ground. Yeah. And we have friends that live out there that they say that this is it's really going on. So, yeah. Yep. You start with a spoon. Everything else that you need, you pick up off the body that you. Yep. That's where you start. Yep. So, protect the Constitution and watch Dana Bash's reaction.
Principal thing that we need to do is we need to listen to what's happening to doctors on the ground. There are 15 million frontline physicians around the world. They're mainly now connected through the internet. We can tell on the front lines what's working and what's not. If we had listened to those doctors during the COVID pandemic, we would have saved potentially millions of lives. There were therapeutics out there that were working. There were doctors that were having no deaths from COVID and treating, in some cases, thousands of patients. And we weren't listening to them. Instead, we were doing the opposite. We were shutting them down. And then, Dana, the other thing that I would say is that we need to protect our constitutional rights. That is the primary obligation.
What does that mean?
Well, during COVID, we completely dismantled our constitutional rights. We began censoring people in violation of the First Amendment.
You're saying what not to do. I'm asking what to do. But I want to talk about.
That's something to do. That is the number one priority. We protect the Constitution. The Constitution was written.
Forgive me, but you're talking about rights, and I'm asking about a potential public health crisis that is coming. But I do want to
And one of the mistakes we made in the last time was suppressing those rights so people weren't being heard. The doctors who were saying you're doing it wrong were being marginalized and vilified.
Yeah,
and
because again, I really want to move on. But
you were saying she wants to move on because he's about to fucking slap her down because she was running her pie hole, okay, about doctors that were having success with things like ivermectin, things like hydroxychloroquine, that were having, all.
Because you were part of the problem.
No, I wasn't part of the problem.
There was absolute press malpractice. You weren't allowing your.
I love that line right there. That line right there.
Absolute press malpractice.
Press malpractice.
You weren't allowing your
Mr.
job,
Secretary.
Your job
is
a fierce skepticism toward authority. And
Yes,
you weren't
I am.
doing that. You
I
were
am.
beating up
My
on
job
people
is
who
also
were dissenting.
No. Okay. Are you want to sit here and attack me, or do you want to have conversations
sitting
about
here and
public health?
attacking me.
I'm not attacking you. I'm asking questions about how to
And let
prevent
me
the next
answer the question,
pandemic.
and I'll tell you.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yep. You know, this is the thing. It's the consistency of it, you know. All right. Now, Ford has a security vulnerability that they are internally leaving unfixed so they can sell you the solution. This is Wall Street Papes, but this guy, he's not, it's not Wall Street Papes. His real name is this guy's name, dang nabbit. I've seen a lot of things by him, but
in a relay attack, a thief walks up to your front door or the side of your house with a large signal booster. And normally your key fob only unlocks your car if you're within a couple of feet of the vehicle. But the signal booster tricks your car into thinking that the key fob is right next to the door. The thieves then unlock the car, start the push button ignition, and they drive off before you realize what's happened. Now, with the Ford security plan, the start inhibit will stop this kind of attack. It will prevent anyone from starting the car with the fob unless the start inhibit option is disabled in your Ford app. So in other words, Ford wants to charge you a monthly fee in order to correct a security vulnerability that they have built into every single one of their vehicles. So instead of allowing you to, say, require a PIN to be entered before your truck will start, Ford demands that you pay them $80 a year to enable this feature within the app. Oh, you have to select start inhibit every time you park the car, which is, obviously very convenient as well.
All right, so this is true. These relay attacks do happen. They are able to act as a key fob and they can steal your vehicle. There is a real security package that Ford is selling, but it's actually more than $80 a year. It is $7.99 per month, so that's $96 a year. And the most wild part about this is Ford is actually proud of this security and vulnerability and to sell you this package. This is right on their website. They're admitting that your car can be stolen, that there is this vulnerability, but they're happy to sell you this Ford security package. I mean, this is wild.
Get peace of mind in drive and in park with the available Ford Security Package. With theft alerts, start inhibit, and stolen vehicle services. Monitor and help protect what?
Start inhibit and stolen vehicle services. So they know that somebody is going to start your car without your authorization and then drive away, so you need that stolen vehicle service. I mean, they're literally selling you for something that they refuse to fix that they know is an issue.
Yep. So, yeah. So be careful with your vehicles out there if you have one of these. Mike Steger, he put this out yesterday, and this one I thought was kind of important. And he's from the Promethean Action team. And I thought that this was pretty enlightening in information-wise in regards to what's going on in Spain. So let's take here we go.
Ceuta exposes the rot of globalization, decades of false promises and decay, generations raised on the marketing promises of corporations, not on the substance of civilization. And we're now threatened with the collapse of the West. Nations have lost any sense of moral purpose. They've been shamed into self-destruction, while corporations and consumer technology have spread a false hope around the world. A kind of cosmetic materialism, where the moral and creative foundations of civilization are replaced with a cell phone and flat screen. The remedy is obvious. We're going to dive deep into the layers of change required to end this ongoing chaotic destruction and secure the future of our heritage. I'm Mike Steger, and I've spent the last 25 years working to dismantle this globalization monstrosity and revive the greatness of American culture. If you're already subscribed, you know we go deeper than most channels do. So if you're not, now's a good time. In this video, we're going to break down the background to this Ceuta crisis, then go deeper into the philosophical matrix at the center of globalization. But that's still not sufficient if we're actually going to solve the problem. Analysis is everywhere. On this channel, we'll always bring receipts on how we solve the crisis, no matter how big or how hard that solution might be. because either we rebuild our civilization or we don't. There's no point in just trying. There is a dissolution of European nations. The levels of migration into Europe are untenable. Even Ursula von der Leyen, head of the EU and one of the architects of the mass migration agenda, has had to react to Ceuta. She said, quote, "Dangerous crossings must stop immediately. Smuggling networks must be dismantled, and returns must be swift, as our rules allow." But that's the point. Their rules are the problem. The nations of Europe have been targeted for destruction since World War I. After 3 decades of World War and decades of ideological Cold War, Europe was perfectly destabilized to accept its own dissolution by a rules-based order. At the center of the problem today is the European Convention on Human Rights. Signed in 1950 and then amended multiple times since then, this convention now provides protections and rights for any individual anywhere, meaning the citizens of Europe are merely one of many. There are no other responsibilities except to honor everyone's rights. This included Article 3, the famous article under which all deportations are now litigated. Article 3 simply states, "No one shall be subjected to torture or to inhuman or degrading treatment or punishment." Who can disagree with that? But what does degrading treatment mean? The precedent was set in a UK case in 1996. A Sikh separatist living in London was accused of plotting to kill the Indian Prime Minister. He was imprisoned, but objected to being sent back to India because he would be arrested and punished, which to any rational person would make sense. But the court mandated he couldn't be returned. And this is now interpreted to mean no one can be sent back anywhere. Degrading treatment, by this reading, applies practically everywhere. The convention has effectively outlawed deportation. Fortunately, this is now currently contested in the United States. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals just ruled that illegal aliens do not enjoy the same rights as citizens. What's the point of being a citizen if an alien gets all the rights but carries none of the responsibilities? But it's obvious that this romantic view of rights, signed by a treaty in the aftermath of World War II, could never actually defend the rights that World War II violated. War, by definition, is the abrogation of political rights. It's legalized murder. This was just the intended initiation of globalization, a society of consumer rights, no responsibilities, no culture, no civilization, no soul, just the right to self-destruct, including the right to euthanasia. What world wars couldn't do, liberalism would. The UN, the law schools, the NGOs, the international corporations, all of them use this bandwagon to ensure that the so-called rules-based order now met rights, not responsibilities. The European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg, which has become the Immigration Supreme Court in Europe, became the model for other international courts, like the International Criminal Court in 1998, where the famous Jack Smith served as coordinator of investigations, or the arbitration panels at the World Bank, where corporations now have the same standing as nations. But allegiance to any of this is voluntary. Any nation can withdraw from the convention. The only reason they don't is the perceived optics of being against human rights. There is nothing stopping any nation from protecting itself from chaos and invasions. It is the very purpose of nations to protect its people. So when the Spanish court ruled at the end of June that migrants who reach Ceuta, specifically by sea, are not able to be summarily removed, the government could have and should have intervened then. The only threat is a court ruling from Strasbourg, and like any court, they don't have enforcement powers. This is the effect of the willing neglect of the governments. Yet Ceuta has set off a firestorm. It's reminded all of us of the terror of the Biden years, the lawless immigration, the social control, and the lies. But if we're going to dig deeper, we have to look at how this crisis unfolded. Bad laws and treaties are one thing, but the cultural collapse of our civilization is the result of a deeper crisis. And once you see what that is, you'll understand why no regime in Europe has so far walked away from Strasbourg, because the treaty isn't the disease. It's a symptom of something these regimes actually believe. Since the advent of globalization in the 1970s, Europe and the United States have eroded their own source of wealth. Their industry, manufacturing, and national cultural coherence has been destroyed, all in the name of greater global prosperity, not by accident, not by market forces that no one could see coming, but by design, by treaty, by decades of private equity lawyers telling factory towns that this was actually progress. The result is what we know. We live it. The West has been gutted. The shipyards are gone. The steel is gone. The way a man could build a family company and hand something real to his kids to carry on, mostly gone, and replaced with a spreadsheet that says global trade volume is up, that GDP is better than ever. Stock prices are booming, all while our own people fall into drug use, despair, and demographic collapse. Now look at the flip side of the globalization coin. The rest of the world was given empty promises based on liberal globalization's corporate marketing. Poor nations now have access to consumer products, but they still suffer severe poverty. And that's not a contradiction. That's the entire free trade model. You don't need a functioning state or clean water or a growing economy to get a smartphone. You just need a signal. And while consumer sales are better than ever. So for the first time in human history, these younger generations around the world are confronted with the wealth of Europe and the United States unlike ever before, now beamed into their pocket 24 hours a day. They've seen no real progress in their own country, corrupt regimes, tribal conflicts, a lack of development. Globalization didn't want to solve these problems, but it gave them access to the frills of iPhones and social media. Zero substance, but lots of social programming. The revolt was inevitable, and like Ceuta, is often planned on social media, much like the teen takeovers here in the United States. It has been decades of globalization that have created this firestorm of migrations and chaos. Not one bad court ruling in June, not one summer, not simply Angela Merkel's mea culpa or the Southern caravans. Decades of telling the poorest people on earth that the picture on the screen was something they had a right to consume, while telling our own people that the factory floor was expendable in service of the global market, and decades of economists saying more consumers means even more GDP. This is the religion of globalization, secular materialism, godless appetites. Drop your national cultures, remove your religious creeds. Embrace the philosophy of consuming unending material advancement and universal rights. Build nothing, sacrifice nothing, and the total result? The literal collapse of material advancement. Think about that. The one thing, the only thing that the secular god of materialism was supposed to create, it has now been shown to destroy. Worse healthcare, broken down cities, shattered families, cheap thrills, and social isolation. Yet we get to enjoy the benefits of a global consumer culture that invites mass migrations with no sense of responsibility. A global generation of young people who have been brainwashed on a culture of consumer indulgence and see no reason not to just take whatever they can. That is the real crisis underneath the crisis at Ceuta, and it's not going to be solved by a court ruling or by reversing one. It's only going to be solved by rebuilding what globalization spent 50 years tearing down. And what that actually looks like is where we go next. Rebuilding first starts at home, not in Brussels, not in Strasbourg, home. You want to know what the reversal of 50 years of managed decline actually looks like? It isn't a summit. It isn't a communique. It looks like a grid. It looks like a factory floor. It looks like a reactor coming back online after 40 years of being managed into extinction. Energy first, because you can't rebuild a nation whose grid can't carry the load. Everything else sits on top of that. Then the grid itself, hardened and expanded, because a superpower that can't keep its own lights on isn't a superpower. It's more like a museum. Then manufacturing brought home, not subsidized into a photo op, but rebuilt as the thing that actually sustains entire towns and pays the mortgage again. Nuclear back from the dead. Chips, because a nation that can't fabricate its own semiconductors doesn't have sovereignty. It has a supply chain somebody else holds the leash on. Then autos, aerospace, the entire architecture of a nation that makes things again, instead of a nation that just moves other people's spreadsheets around and calls it an economy. That's what Trump is reviving here. one brick and layer of mortar at a time. 10 new nuclear power plants. TSMC chip production, unimaginable a decade ago. Expansion of production in auto, aerospace, and more. And where state governments are open for business, they can't build fast enough. And overseas, you're watching the same instincts start to move. Deal by deal, not foreign aid, but real leverage and trade. Argentina just broke ground on a new nuclear reactor, backed by over $1 billion in private American financing. And on the other side of the planet, Poland is building its first nuclear plant ever. Westinghouse reactors, American design, American engineering, financed not by Brussels, but by the U.S. Export-Import Bank, writing the check directly. A partnership, American technology exported on American terms, not offshoring jobs, but expanding domestic production for the development of nations, versus the globalization model, which would mean a loan structured by the IMF to benefit corporations and which would keep the country in debt for 40 years. The same story with Saudi Arabia, a civil nuclear deal, American reactors, American companies, and the list will keep growing. And that's the material answer. Build up the industry at home, create markets abroad with private and public credit, and export industrial products to strengthen nations around the world. And this is all necessary. So if you want to see more of this, the deals, the rebuild, the receipts, hit like, subscribe, sign up for our newsletter in the description, and help us get this channel and this movement where it needs to be. Now, let's get to the real substance of the deeper solution. Because manufacturing is in itself good, but it's not sufficient. Build all of it, the grid, the reactors, the factories, every deal on every continent. But if that's where we stop, then we have built a stronger house on the same foundation. Because here's what nobody in this entire migration debate will admit. The lawyers and the NGOs have clearly exhausted every argument that rights can make. They've said everything rights can say. It's not going to solve the issue, because nobody is asking the one question underneath all of it. What is a human being actually for? Where did this civilization, this technology, this science, this industry even come from? Before science was a well-paid career, why did the earliest scientists, our greatest discoverers, live in poverty to pursue the truth? What does the truth have to do with rights and our civilization? When 1977, a theologian named Joseph Ratzinger, you now know him as Pope Benedict XVI, he wrote a book almost no one outside a seminary has ever read, called Eschatology, on the End Times. And buried in that book is an observation that explains everything we've been talking about. Sometime early in the last century, Ratzinger argues, the Christian church, broadly speaking, quietly swapped one idea for another. In essence, it stopped teaching the immortality of the human soul, that there is something about us as human beings that isn't matter, that doesn't decay, that isn't for sale, that there is something about human existence which gives us the power to make great discoveries, to unfold the truth of creation. And the church replaced this idea, an idea that has dominated Christian civilization for almost 2,000 years, with what some theologians said was a more accurate concept, the resurrection of the body, a future event long after we die, a promise about material life at the end of days, not a truth about who we are or how we relate to the eternal now in this life and after death, but something that happens at the end of time. Now, this might sound like an argument for seminarians, but it's not. It's the entire ballgame. Because if there's nothing in man but matter, then there's nothing in a nation but resources, nothing in a citizen but a consumer. Rights are then just handed out like candy, because who doesn't want rights? But nobody talks about responsibility, because matter doesn't have responsibility. A rock doesn't owe anyone anything. A polar bear has no moral responsibility for anyone. If you take the soul out of the equation, then you've taken the responsibility, the beauty. You've taken the power of the human soul out of the life of man. And all that's left is appetite, mere animals wearing the mask of law. The power of the immortal soul is the wellspring from which the West has flourished, not Brussels' rules-based order, not Strasbourg's protection of rights. Athens and Jerusalem merged into something higher, the reasoning mind of the Greeks fused with the revealed truth of a moral God into a higher inheritance, that man, all men, are made in the image of God, not only at the end of history, but in this life, today, to act, to create, to discover and build. In religious terms, as Ratzinger puts it, we are able to know and love God today in this life, not perfectly, but substantially. He says we are able to have a dialogue with God, and through that dialogue, we gain eternal life. We're not made in the image of a GDP chart or the image of a consumer demographic. Globalism never answered this question because globalism, in essence, wants to kill the very soul of man. It handed the poorest people on earth a phone and called it dignity. It handed our own people a severance check and called it progress. Take the soul out, and all you've built on both sides of this trade is a very well-lit, very well-connected machine for producing appetite, with nothing underneath it that tells a single human being, anywhere, what human life is really all about. So yes, rebuild the grid, rebuild the reactors, bring the factories home, sign the deals abroad on our terms, do every bit of it, because a civilization needs to grow and thrive if it's going to exist. But if that's where it ends, we'll have rebuilt the machine and left out the man. The recovery of the West was never an economic project. It was always a metaphysical one, a cultural one. A world of rights without responsibility is what created the crisis in Ceuta. The image of God, the immortality of the human soul, restores to the center of how we see each other. That is the only foundation that was ever going to hold both of these truths at once. That every human life is sacred, and that every human life owes something to the God of creation. This is what our nations have lost. Even our churches have forgotten. Is it any wonder that we've been taken over? We've gave up our greatest defense. And that's what we are now reviving. I'm Mike Stager, and that's this overview. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.
I really like this guy. He puts together a lot of great content. But, you know, it's nice to hear a biblical leaning, you know, because we're in, like, you know, like we've talked about before, we're in as much of a spiritual warfare as we are in the information war, right? You know, because that's what we've been in for the last 10 years. A lot of people don't understand that. You know, they don't see that. You know, they just try to live everyday normal lives. But those that know, those that are awake, you know, you have a different perspective. You know, and you know, most of us got into this because of the children. You know, what we leave behind for them is so vital and so important. And you know, there's enough hostility in the world without us having it in our own personal lives. You know, we see enough of it. We are affected by it, whether it be economic or medically or whatever. You know, there's so many obstacles that are put in our path on a daily basis. Things that you know, classify us as you know, more subhuman than we were, you know, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, 80 years ago, 100 years ago. And they've downtrodden us so much for so long that you know, there are times that you feel like, wow, you know, yeah, they got away with it. They got away with it. That's the thing is in the end, God wins. Nobody gets away with nothing. And that's what I like about Mike's message there is, you know, they think they get away with something, but you know, in the end, God wins, no matter what. Yeah. And those that don't believe, well, this is what I'll tell you. I would rather believe and be wrong than not believe and be wrong. You see what I'm saying there? You see what I'm saying? You see? You know, I would rather believe and be wrong. Okay. I would rather believe and be wrong than not believe and be wrong. I mean, think about that scenario. Those who believe, where are you going? Those who don't believe, where are you going? Sorry, but I think I know where I kind of belong. Whether we get there and we stay there, that's another story, because we gotta check in. We gotta check in. That's what we gotta do. But there's one thing that I know, that even though I don't deserve it, even though I am flawed as a human being on a daily basis, I am flawed. And, there's one thing that I know. There's one thing that I know. I know this right here. I'm back with you in just a minute.
I stood at the gates with nothing to bring, no medals to wear, no songs left to sing, no list of good deeds I could hold in my hand, just a lifetime of trying to understand. St. Peter looked kindly and asked me why. I thought for a moment, then lifted my eyes. The man in the middle said I could come. The man in the middle said I belong. Not because I earned it, not because I won. The man in the middle said I could come. I remembered my failures, remembered my fears, the mistakes and regrets I carried for years. The times I stumbled, the times I fell, the prayers I whispered when life wasn't well. And then I remembered the promise he made, and all of my worries just faded away. The man in the middle said I could come. The man in the middle said I belong. Not because I earned it, not because I won. The man in the middle said I could come. He hung between two broken men, showing mercy right until the end. One turned away, one chose to believe, and grace was all he'd ever need. The man in the middle said I could come. The man in the middle said I belong. No crown of glory, no perfect song, just faith in the one who carried me along. The man in the middle said I could come. The man in the middle said I belong. No crown of glory, no perfect song, just faith in the one who carried me along. The man in the middle said I could come. The man in the middle said I belong. Not because I earned it, not because I won. The man in the middle said I could come. And if someday someone asks me, why are you here? I won't say, because I was good enough. I won't say, because I earned my place, I'll simply smile and say, the man in the middle said I could come.
Yep. The man in the middle said I could come. You know, so you know, there's that. There's that. But I seen that somebody sent me a bribe. It wasn't a big bribe, but it was a bribe nonetheless. They are in need of a safety meeting. So let's have a safety meeting, and then we'll get back to it.
What's right now? Hey, hey, hey. What's right now? You walk in the room with a smile on your face, but your mind's racing all over the place. Got 1,000 things running through your head, and you know you ought to slow it down instead. Well, don't just grab the first jar you see. There's a little bit of science to the TAC. Take a minute, breathe, don't rush somehow. Ask yourself what's right now. Do you need to chill? Do you need some sleep? Do you need a relief that's nice and deep? Do you need a snack? Do you need a grin? Let's figure out where to begin. What's right now? What's your body say? Are you winding down at the end of the day? Know the lights if you're ready for bed. Bubba Kush if your battery's dead. Dos when the aches hang around. Blue cheese if you're still moving around. Everybody's different somehow. So what's right now? Know the light says turn down the speed. Let your busy little brain be free. Tie an Afghani on a sleepy ride, like a warm blanket by your side. Then Bubba Kush walks through the door, says, buddy, you ain't working anymore. It's the melt into the couch parade. Cancel your chores that you already made. Need some comfort, need some peace. Need those busy thoughts to cease. Don't overthink, don't wear a frown. Listen when your body's talking now. What's right now? What's your body say? Are you winding down at the end of the day? Northern Lights if you're ready for bed. Bubba Kush if your battery's dead. Dos when the aches hang around. Blue cheese if you're still moving around. Hey, everybody's different somehow. So what's right now? Do says I got your back when your muscles start to crack. Blue cheese says grab a little bite, but still keep dancing through the night. Slow reaction, dry mouth too. Keep some water close to you if your heart starts racing fast. Take it easy, let it pass. Everybody's chemistry works a little differently. What's right now? Listen to yourself. Not every jar belongs on everybody's shelf. Some are sleepy, some are light, some are daytime, some are night. Take it slow and you'll find out how to choose what's right now. What's right now? Oh, what's right now? What's right now? Hey, everybody's different somehow. So what's right now? Hey, ask your body what's right now. Hey.
So one of my friends came out and was checking to see if I needed anything this weekend. I actually did my grocery shopping and stuff for me. They brought me a sample of a strain that they got for me that about 4 years ago called Lung Buster. And it was one that was developed by a friend of mine up in Washington State, and that's what my safety meeting entails today, is a little lung buster. So if I fall out and fall away for a second or two, it's just because it hit me that good, and I might be a little slow to react, but you'll get over it, and I'll be under the influence. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's get back to this. So, let's see. Here we go. Batshit Bunkers Britain.
Breaking news here in Batshit Bonkers Britain, where Captain Casual Andy Burnham has been on the coastline of Dover looking at small boats. He says the government plan is working. Yeah, sure thing, Andy. It's working about as well as 70% of Pakistani Muslim women in Birmingham who don't actually work at all, do they? Meanwhile, Reform says they need to send in the Navy, something I suggested back in 2015 in a newspaper column for which I was arrested and interviewed under caution by the Metropolitan Police. In other news, Rupert Lowe says Reform and Restore need to work together and has outlined his non-negotiable. Reform responded to that with a lot of words, just lots of words, more salad with words than you would find at a vegan wedding. And finally, my darlings, Lobstergate on the Isle of Man. Noel Edmonds taking 2 lobsters from a tank, releasing them into the ocean, and now the owner of the business has got rid of the tank altogether. The question is not, should lobsters be boiled alive? The question is, should vegans be dictating what other people eat? I don't go round trying to capture cashews and stick them back onto a tree, now do I? That's it, my darlings. Batshit Bonkers Britain.
Yep. She's a hoot, isn't she? And how did you know I was eating anyways? No, give me a second. I thought it was like 30 seconds longer so I could finish chewing. All right, here we go.
Alexandra Lozano promised a pathway to citizenship for tens of thousands of people, a self-described miracle lawyer, according to a new lawsuit. She had an office in West Suburban Berwyn, a multi-million-dollar condo in the city, and a pink private jet, among offices across the country. The catch, that promise of citizenship for her clients was broken, according to the complaint.
We had been hearing rumors for years about problems with how those cases were being handled, rumors that things were being fabricated to make people eligible when they were not otherwise eligible.
Vicente Omar Barraza represents dozens of clients in this lawsuit out of Washington state who claim they were conned out of tens of thousands of dollars by former immigration attorney Alexandra Lozano. They're only some of the 35,000 clients Lozano represented over the past 5+ years, according to the suit. Immigration attorneys tell the I-Team Lozano made millions of dollars and lived high on the hog with a $3 million condo in Chicago and this pink private jet to ferry her across the country.
When you go around calling yourself the lawyer of miracles, people don't look at the fine print.
Lozano co-opted the potent religious symbol of the Virgin of Guadalupe in her marketing, calling herself the miracle lawyer, when in fact, she was charging some vulnerable clients tens of thousands of dollars to file falsified immigration papers under the Violence Against Women Act, or alleging her clients were victims of human trafficking, regardless of whether they qualified for that relief, according to the complaint.
That's all we've been seeing for the last probably month are just these victims coming in, because now they don't even know if they have a case.
Chicago immigration attorney Kathleen Vanucci telling the I-Team she's seen a flood of former Lozano clients coming to her practice asking for help. When the Washington State Bar Association opened an investigation into Lozano, she voluntarily gave up her law license rather than face discipline and promptly disappeared. This is a video of Lozano's desolate Berwyn office days after her practice ceased, with dozens of cubicles empty.
They're panicking because the problem right now is that some of them didn't know what was going on in the application. If you withdraw the application or that application is denied, you are going to be transferred to immigration court for removal proceedings.
Take a look at this. The amount of people that she was fraudulently getting citizenship or visas into America is way more that's being reported here. There were actually about 35,000 clients and about 54,000 petitions that had her signature on them. And look how much she was charging. She was charging between $10,000 and $25,000 per case, sometimes more. This means between all the immigration clients that she had revenues or promised revenues of about $400 million. Here's what she was able to buy with all that money. She was buying a private jet for $25 million. She had a $3 million condo in Chicago, a $3.2 million luxury condo in Seattle. She also had multiple other properties. She was buying properties in Mexico as well. And just really think about it. This is only one immigration attorney that's doing this on a large scale, but there are likely thousands of other immigration attorneys that are promising people citizenship or at least green cards to get into America on these loopholes. And they're probably all over America. The scale of this is probably something we can't even comprehend, the amount of fraud that is going on. Just think about how incredibly simple this is. All you have to do is claim that you are a victim of violence or you are a victim of human trafficking, and you're able to get one of these visas. All they have to do is make these claims in a filing, and then they become eligible for relief, and they get a path to stay, and eventually they can even become U.S. citizens. This is wild.
Yep. How many have gotten their citizenship because of this? You know, that's not a little question. That's a big question. How many got citizenship because of it? He didn't go into that part, you know. So, all right, then we go here with some
nonprofit health policy research group finds that 9.2 million adults, that's nearly half of those enrolled in Obamacare Medicaid expansion program, do not even meet the federal requirements to qualify. How did this happen and how do we know? Connor Hansen live on Capitol Hill with more. Hi, Connor. Good morning.
Hi, Dana. Good morning. Well, this study says some of those people actually make too much money to qualify for this Medicaid expansion program, and others are getting these benefits even though they're here in the country illegally. Now, this study was put together by the Paragon Health Institute, which is run by a former advisor to President Trump. He's alleging widespread fraud here. He says more than 9 million people, as you mentioned, close to half of those using the Medicaid expansion program under Obamacare should not qualify. The report given to Fox Business ahead of a hearing here on Capitol Hill says pandemic-era policies supercharged the issue.
We compared Medicaid expansion enrollment by state to the total number of people who would be eligible for that coverage, have income below those thresholds by state, and found a massive problem.
According to the study, fraud in the program costs taxpayers $32 billion each year, and people who really do need regular Medicaid could be paying the price the most. The study says New York and California have some of the biggest problems, claiming up to 62% of people enrolled in California are not eligible, and the states might not even be incentivized to fix the issue.
California actually gets 9 times more funding for an expansion enrollee than a traditional enrollee. That is perverse. The federal government is effectively discriminating against the most vulnerable.
And Brian Blades, who you just heard from, will be here on Capitol Hill tomorrow testifying to the Senate Budget Committee. He told me one of his recommendations will be to have stronger verification for anybody trying to enroll in Medicaid. Dana?
Sounds like something that's needed. Connor, thank you.
Yeah. You know, and one of the reasons that the homeless get sent to places like Florida and California, Portland, Seattle, although they get snow in Portland and in Seattle, Portland, very rarely do you see an accumulation of snow that stays. Seattle, they ship all their homeless down to either Portland or California. When the snowstorms are coming in, the buses pull into Portland and everybody gets on the bus and they go down to Sacramento, they go down to LA, they go down to a couple other big cities that are coastal cities. They get dumped off down there. Their benefits still work there. And in some cases they can apply and get double benefits going while they're in different states, but they shuffle them between the 3 states. Then when the weather is getting good in Portland and the Seattle area, then all of a sudden you see this big influx of the homeless again. So they move them out so that California can have that summer tourism that goes on down there, and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot there. So Area 51 is on fire, and people think something strange is happening. The entire side of Bald Mountain near Area 51 is currently on fire. Footage shows a massive blaze spreading across the restricted area. Yeah.
So, of course, we drive over to Tikaboo Valley again to take a closer look. Getting closer, we can see that pretty much the entire side of Bald Mountain is on fire.
Area 51 is on fire, but something strange is going on here. Now, wildfires certainly aren't something new in Nevada, but people are immediately worried that we might have seen a new weapon in action. And there's a good reason why people are so suspicious. Back in May, this same area was hit by strange earthquake swarms.
Well, in the span of 24 hours, there have been 17 earthquakes near Area 51. It started with a 4.4 magnitude quake just 2.5 miles underground. The area is normally not prone to earthquakes this shallow.
At the time, the legacy media said it was some kind of nuclear testing, but now some people believe it was a new kind of weapon. A weapon that might have been responsible for what we saw next.
Interesting speculation. Very, very interesting. Is it just another wildfire, or did something go wrong in Area 51? Good question. Let's see. And this Joker is back out on the scene. Don't even want to say his name.
Against the United States and the West all those years. But honestly, I think the president, after that first month where our military did a brilliant job taking down 13,000 military sites, I think the president has tried to create room for diplomacy. He's done that again over this weekend, even as we were marshaling military assets across the region. But I honestly think that the time has come for the President of the United States to unleash the armed forces of the United States, strike the remaining nuclear facilities in Iran, take down and degrade their ability to project force, not only in the Strait, but across the region. Look, one does not make peace with one's enemy. One makes peace with one's defeated enemy. And given their posture and their attitudes and even denying that negotiations are happening, I have every confidence that there will come a moment where my old running mate has had enough, and we ought to turn loose the greatest military in the world.
Are you convinced that he's willing to go that
take
far?
him back? Look, the president I serve with is a man of action. He leads from the front. I don't think you can understate the significance of his decision last year to strike Iran directly for the first time in the history of our relationship with the regime in Tehran. Unleashing our armed forces in Operation Epic Fury was historic, but now we've got to let our armed forces and our ally Israel finish the job, and I believe we can.
Yeah, see, I knew that this was going somewhere. You know, I knew that this was going somewhere, and I knew that ISIS, Ra, and Elohim had something to do with it. Just saying. I'm just saying. You know, I wonder how much money Mike Pence got from AIPAC.
Against the United States and the West all those years.
We're going to Grok, I have a quick question for you. Is it working now?
Yeah, it's working. I'm hearing you loud and clear. What's on your mind?
How much?
Awesome. Glad.
I'm sorry. Can you tell me how much money Mike Pence has received from AIPAC?
AIPX says doesn't donate directly to candidates. It's a lobby, not a PAC. But pro-Israel PACs and donors linked to it have given him money over the years. Open Secret shows small amounts like $100 in recent cycles, while groups tracking this claim over $250,000 total in pro-Israel support. Want me to dig into a specific time period?
No, thank you. I just wanted to ask that.
No worries. Glad I could help. Anything else on your mind?
No, thanks. Have a great day. All right. So, yeah, small amounts. Always small amounts, isn't it? Isn't it always small amounts? Yeah. Small amounts, small amounts. Yeah. I remember this guy.
We're talking about probably the most horrible scandal and scam ever perpetrated, not only in the name of science, but in humanity and in all history. The great lie of Hitler. It's amazing. I think he would envy the job being done by members of the National Institutes of Health and even the media, especially in this country. And I will put the lie to the individuals of the NIH, particularly Gallo and Fauci and Hazeltine and Essex, and the rest of these scoundrels of the worst order. Criminals guilty of genocide, without a doubt. I invite them to take me to court. I wish Burroughs Wellcome would take me to court because they have been putting out a killer drug knowingly. We're talking about probably...
And he was talking about Fauci. Yep. He was talking about Fauci 30 years ago. Dr. Robert Wilner accused Dr. Fauci and others of genocide for their role in the HIV crisis. Yep. It was that simple. Then President Trump, put out a tweet.
So it's ExxonMobil, it's Chevron, it's Shell, it's BP, it's a lot of them. The gasoline or the oil prices have come down so much, and we are not seeing anything at the pump by comparison to what it should be. We should be, in my opinion, at $2.25 right now at the pump. And we're higher than that. And we are doing a big investigation on it. Yeah, they're not reducing the prices commensurate with what's happening. Look, we are sending out, think of it, 19 million barrels came out yesterday. That is a flood. That's like a gusher. That's an oil gusher. and they should be much lower. The gasoline prices, which really is what people see more than anything else, but for their car. But the gasoline prices should be much lower at the pump, and the oil companies are possibly gouging. I hope they're not. Otherwise, they're going to be in big trouble. They're going to be in big trouble. We're not going to play games.
So his tweet was, Mike Wirth, chairman and CEO of Chevron, just gave in an interview with the fabulous Maria Bartiromo all of the reasons that his company is doing so well. The only thing he conveniently forgot to mention is that without the genius, foresight, strength, and stability of the Trump administration, the oil industry and our country itself would be dead. As an example, they threw Mike and Chevron out of Venezuela, but now they're back, far bigger and stronger than ever before, expecting to make a fortune. That goes for other oil companies as well. And get your consumer retail oil prices down now. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. He's telling them that's enough's enough. Now, this one's a little bit long, but I'm going to let this whole thing play. And this is Fiona Rose Diamond. Okay, Fiona Rose Diamond. Actually, let's go to, no, well, I actually wanted to go to her. What are you doing? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? All right, here we go.
Vaccinated telling the unvaccinated to pipe down on social media. Really? You're seriously still villainizing the very people who try to warn you and save you. Some are even saying we are fortunate to not be jabbed, as if it was that fucking easy to resist. And history is literally being rewritten by those who surrender to it. The fact is, the compliant, the vaccinated, enjoyed a multi-year pass from societal exile, yet they currently dominate the victimhood narrative. And my tone has hardened only because I spent years fighting for the injured and bereaved, and I am sick to death of the gaslighting and the lack of accountability from the vaccinated, which, ironically, is what the injured and bereaved have suffered, and the total erasure of what the unjabbed endured. They tried to force us out of society, but we are still here, the ones consistently fighting this literal satanic globalist agenda. And personally, honestly, I'm exhausted. I've completely spent myself on a collective of people, most of whom have shown nothing but utter entitlement. And right now, as we watch this Fauci hearing unfold, all I see on social media is this flooding of this pathetic narrative of how much of a victim every vaccinated person is. We hear about how the vaccinated suffered a fear campaign and propaganda. Well, what about the unvaccinated? I personally invested 3 brutal years of my life and my time and my energy, specifically dedicating myself to the vaccinated, to the injured and bereaved. And that was after 3 years of trying to convince hundreds of thousands of people in community outreach on the streets, which I did daily and weekly, and millions at protests, trying to convince them not to take the poison. I worked for years relentlessly to save lives and to inform, and so did millions of unjabbed, unsung heroes worldwide. And in some way, I blame my own choice to invest so much, because I'm really pissed off now. And the reason for this video is that I know that I'm not the only one that's getting pissed off with this. Once again, it's the unjabbed doing the heavy lifting. Still, always, the unjabbed are the minority, and we are and always have been fighting, while the vast majority of the jabbed are being fought for. So yes, there is a good few jabbed who are injured and bereaved fighting with us. And I mean literally a few, but they are the exception and not the rule, because the majority of the jabbed who claim to be fighting are fighting for the jabbed only, towing the mainstream media lines and desperately trying to remain Ofcom palatable for a slot on GB News or for a headline in a grotty newspaper. And when you see unjabbed people lashing out online, on social media, just remember, those are the exact people who try to warn you and save your lives for 2 straight years, from 2020 to 2022. They got so utterly exhausted and pissed off by your venomous hate that they finally thought, you know what, fuck it. Why should I listen to your stories? Why should I help you now? And that is fair, because we constantly hear about your trauma. All the while, you try to silence us. But what about what we went through? Every single bit of truth that's leaking into the mainstream right now, every tiny headline or dripped emission exists solely because of what we, the unjabbed, did and said years ago. It's because of our relentless work that the facade is cracking. So let me ask you, when will the jabbed speak for the unjabbed? When will the unjabbed, who were 100% right from day one, get a single front page headline or mainstream acknowledgement? Because senators, MPs and mayors all over the world have spoken officially for the jab injured. There have been panel shows, news slots and committee meetings. No, it's not all that you want. It's not enough for you. I don't know what will be enough. I think we all want the same thing. But we all want justice. It's just that some of us also care about the truth. Meanwhile, the unjabbed have had sod all. Absolutely fucking nothing. And we were right all along. Yet the majority of the jabbed now have the absolute audacity to flood platforms like X, telling us not to be morally superior and to knock off the bullshit because we don't get a trophy. And then we look at the fucking clinical staff, the fucking nurses and doctors and healthcare professionals desperately evading accountability. Look at them on social media right now, literally begging for pity, whimpering. We didn't write the kill protocols. It's not our fault. You have no idea how hard it was for us. Cry me a fucking river. Every single clinician or medical professional who implemented those lethal directives is absolutely accountable. If you don't admit that, you are just admitting that you're a mindless, spineless, robotic drone who carried out protocols that harmed and killed people because you were too fucking weak to stand up to bad policy. It proves you lacked any real medical knowledge. You're just a box-ticking, mindless minion in uniform. So your excuse doesn't matter. You claim you faced being fired, loss of your job. Seriously, is that really the best excuse you have for complicity, for literally killing people? Worse, I personally organized a campaign and a protest that was all over the headlines, all over it in January of 2022 that saved 88,000 unjabbed NHS workers' jobs. But what did you all do when your job was saved? I mean, I know because I was there. I organized it. Hundreds of thousands of people marched for you that day. And 2 months later, when they were jabbing 12-year-olds and then 5-year-olds, where were you?
Wow. What a statement, huh? You know, and she ain't done. We ain't done with this. We ain't done with this. I just figured I just wanted to give it a minute so you can soak in what she said so far. Okay. I'm just pausing it for a minute, but I have not heard anything unorthodox or out of pocket in her statement so far. All right, let's keep going. Here we go.
Back at fucking work. How many of you 88,000 unjabbed NHS workers implemented the kill protocol or jabbed someone when you wouldn't take it yourself? Some of you remain supportive, I'll give you that. Some of you, literally a handful. But for the majority of you, as soon as your job was secure, it was once again, I'm all right, Jack. So what do you think happened to the unjabbed for years? We faced total societal exile. We were completely banned from venues, events, pubs, restaurants, festivals, concerts, international travel. We endured hate campaign after hate campaign orchestrated directly by governments worldwide constant mockery from high-profile celebrities and headline after headline demonizing us. We were literally refused medical care. I mean, I was refused treatment because I didn't take a PCR test. I rejected the PCR test. We were so thoroughly villainized that you lot screamed literal death wishes on our timelines. You called us refuseniks, morons, selfish, and other spiteful names. You literally spat at us in the street. That actually happened. While you proudly virtue signaled, snitched, and ostracized us. Our friends left us, and some unjabbed were even abandoned by their family. Some of us were arrested, brutalized by police, and convicted in our courts just for trying to save lives and speak the truth. Every day, every single day, for years, it was a living hell, living torture for us because we did not comply. But we were right all along. But we don't get the news, the interviews, the Senate meetings, or the massive product liability claim payouts. We have to say it ourselves. But even when you hated us, even when the jabbed hated us, we spoke for you. We platformed you. We handed out leaflets for years to protect you, while some morons on our side banged on about pure blood, which I personally hate. The collective, the majority of the unjabbed said, we must not lose our humanity. We must unite with the jabbed. And we made that happen. We ran the campaigns, hosted the rallies.
I got to pause it for a second. She said something about pure bloods there. You know, I used to joke about the fact that, you know, I wouldn't mind being 25 or 30 years younger and being pure blood. I'd be making babies all over the place. Don't you know?
And built the conferences. We built the safe space for you to tell your stories. So don't you dare lecture me now watching this about unity, because true unity is based on truth. And I invested 6 years in uniting people. And I think now, for what? I understand why the jabbed don't comprehend real unity, because you believed a brainwashed, state-sponsored version of civic duty was unity, while treating us, the unjabbed, like lepers. For years, only one side has initiated. Only one side has campaigned for everyone. And only one side has let bygones be bygones and do what is right for humanity as actual humanitarians. The other side have indeed campaigned, but for themselves. So to all the jabbed telling us, the unjabbed, to pipe down, fuck you. To all the nurses and clinicians begging for pity as if you're a victim, fuck you too. I have respect for the clinical staff, doctors and nurses who risked their livelihoods to speak out and save lives. I have unending respect for the very few jabbed, jab injured and bereaved who are fighting for all of humanity, not just for themselves, but that's very few. I respect the plaintiffs in the case against Bill Gates in the Netherlands, because they aren't looking for a quick taxpayer-funded payday. They are exposing the entire satanic globalist beast and holding the likes of Bill Gates and Albert Bourla, Pfizer CEO, accountable as individuals. And that brings me on to another thing as well, which I don't think many people actually know is going on. I think that people are completely unaware of this. To the AstraZeneca class action claimants in the UK High Court, who are securing millions with non-disclosure agreements, I do not respect you. And if you don't know about that claim, a group of injured and bereaved are suing AstraZeneca in a product liability case. One of many, by the way, one of many. Let's get down to the brass tacks of that. AstraZeneca isn't paying a single fucking penny because of the indemnity contract signed by our corrupt government. In 2020, the British taxpayer is footing the entire multi-100 million pound bill. You, vaccinated and bereaved claimants, are suing the government by proxy and making the taxpayer pay for every penny, and you know it. The public purse is funding AstraZeneca's elite corporate lawyers, bleeding £1,500 an hour, funding the expert witnesses, and funding individual lifetime compensation payouts, up to £20 million each. That is a grotesque, systemic stitch-up. A claimant in this class action can walk away with millions of taxpayer money on the condition of absolute silence. You're taking blood money. to fund your own hush money packages, bankrolling the exact machine that broke you and keeping the rest of humanity trapped in this fucking mess. You're willing to be silenced, to have the truth silenced for a fucking payout. And some of you have already got the VDPS payout as well, which makes it worse. We're not the same. So why should the unvaccinated and the general public fund a multi-million-pound project liability claim for other people's choices? Everyone had a choice. That is an unassailable fact. Nobody was dragged to those vaccine centres. The vast majority chose to line up, chose to ignore the warnings, proudly updated their social media profiles and joined the hate mob against the unjabbed. That's the harsh truth. It's the truth. It's harsh, but it's the truth. And one thing I'll also say, because I heard this a lot over the years, is the term medical rape. Yeah, it worked for a while. It absolved you of any accountability whatsoever. It describes the crime being committed worldwide because it was a crime. But let's be brutally honest. Adults had a choice. Being violently assaulted in the most despicable way imaginable does not happen through fear-mongering, government briefings and TV adverts. There are no billboards saying, get raped for your health. And people resisting that assault are not called refuseniks. To say that arguing we had a choice is like blaming a rape victim is sickening. It completely trivializes the horror of sexual violence. While injecting powerless children is a completely different story, adults had a choice. So calling the phrases like medical rape, it's just word gymnastics. There's a massive line between systemic and psychological coercion and physical, violent, brute force. The jab was not akin to rape. And if you've ever been a victim of rape, you don't need me to tell you the difference. The pressure and the threats were intense. The job losses, social exclusion, no travel, no entry. Yeah, we, the unjabbed, we know we made those sacrifices. The coercion was severe. Yeah, we know. We said no. But unless you were physically beaten and pinned down to be jabbed, it's not the same as rape. Concern and righteous rage about the coercion and autonomy deserves airing. The rape analogy does not. It sickens me. So it's time to face the hard, uncomfortable truth. You had a fucking choice. And in case you didn't know, we all suffered the multi-trillion-dollar campaign. It's just that the jabbed were the ones who didn't face a second of total demonization and social exclusion. Every single one of us was targeted by that psychological warfare. And we are all victims of it, jabbed and unjabbed, not just the ones who chose to comply. But for years, the unjabbed had the absolute roughest ride. We were the primary targets of the state's venom and your venom, villainized and cast out of society. But we were right. And we have damn well earned the right to say we were right. And to this day, not once have we had any official acknowledgement or indeed an apology. But guess what, guys? We aren't dumb enough or desperate enough to sit around expecting one. We don't need validation from the system that tried to crush us and kill us. The truth always comes out, and look, it has. We fight for humanity, not for self. And that's the fundamental difference between us and the people begging for pity while attempting to bury the truth, bury history, and bury who they were during that time. You want to rewrite history now. You want to bury who you were, and you want to silence the truth. How fucking dare you? Truth is all that matters. Admit who you were. Admit you were wrong. Stop telling us to stop pointing out the facts, because we are the only collective on this planet who will. And that is exactly the way it has always been. Justice comes only when the truth is spoken, but too many of you are desperately clinging to the mainstream narrative for real justice to even be possible. The blunt reality you refuse to face is that as long as you continue to toe the mainstream line, The people who orchestrated this will never see the inside of a prison cell. Real justice isn't happening because you're willing to accept a payout in exchange for your silence. It isn't happening because you're still actively trying to silence the truth to protect your own fucking pride. We all deserve justice. You, the vaccinated, the injured, and bereaved, are not the only fucking victims here. But there's a glaring dividing line. For 7 brutal years, the vast majority of one side has fought for all of humanity, jabbed and unjabbed alike. Meanwhile, the vast majority of your side has fought only for themselves. Yet you somehow expect accountability. You expect tribunals and prison sentences. Look in the fucking mirror. We will never get there as long as you keep bankrolling the cover-up, lecturing people who not only tried to save you, but were right all along. We, the unjabbed, don't get a headline or a government meeting or any acknowledgement. We have only ourselves to make sure history isn't rewritten. So we won't shut up because the truth hurts your pride and makes you uncomfortable. You'll never, ever, ever know how we felt, nor the torture of what we suffered for years, the most villainized and demonized collective in history, who were not only right all along, but most of us actually tried to save you. Anyone claiming they saw no skepticism or received no warnings from friends, family, or social media is flat out lying. You're lying. The truth is unavoidable. Alongside the constant celebrity ridicule from 2020, the lockdown skeptics, the anti-maskers, the anti-vax, and the unvaccinated faced constant demonization across primetime television. Every day, newspaper articles and official government drivel during the daily doomsday briefings. Every day. You saw it. We all saw it. The denial is a farce. Those who claim they never saw any warnings or skepticism are lying to themselves and to the world. And I will never apologize for exposing that lie. And if 7 years in, you still can't stomach the truth, are willing to settle for millions of taxpayers' money while agreeing to complete silence, none of us will ever get the justice we all want and deserve.
There's a whole lot of truth in what she said, and for those of you over in the UK, I give a lot of props that, to those of you that remained like the group that you're hanging out with right now, that stayed unvaccinated and tried to save people, and she's right. They are never going to thank us for doing what we did in order to shine the light on things so much that things had to come to a stop. They couldn't do it no more, and yeah. All right. Then and then this happened last night.
Florida interstate, where authorities say hundreds of drivers shut down I-75 during an alleged illegal street takeover. Traffic cameras capturing cars blocking every northbound lane as drivers did burnouts in the middle of the highway. The crowd finally began to scatter as troopers got there, but police say one green BMW took off, leading them on a chase that reached 140 miles an hour. The 25-year-old driver and his 3 passengers were arrested. The driver is now facing felony charges. And a remarkable story out of Montana, where a 14-year-old has been credited with saving a man from drowning in the Yellowstone Florida interstate, where
yeah. Crazy, huh? Crazy. Yeah. And then we got this.
Let's talk more about Mamdani's communist takeover with host of Savage Nation, author of Savage Republic, Dr. Michael Savage. Dr. Savage, you're in San Francisco, the woke capital of the United States, right?
We don't have free grocery stores. They tried co-ops here, and they were all destroyed in the 1970s. Every city that tried a co-op grocery store went out of business for 2 reasons. People were stealing, number one, And number two, the stores were basically sewers. That's what's going to happen in New York. Now, Mom's dummy, let's never call him Mom Donnie. It's Mom's dummy because he's nothing but a dummy of his filmmaker mother who actually created this monster. Mom's dummy is following the exact playbook of communism, as your previous guest correctly said, which is a bloody political ideology. Let's never forget that it all starts out sounding nice and it ends up with firing squads. Now, lots of things can be said. I have to keep it short. I realize we have limited time.
Mm-hmm.
He's acting like the Greek mythological figure Icarus. Icarus was a young man who thought he was great and could fly to the sun. So he collected bird feathers and he put wax on the feathers and made wooden wings, and he started flying to the sun. What happened was the closer he got to the sun, the hotter the air got. Eventually the wax melted, the feathers fell off his fake wings, and he crashed to earth. That's Icarus. Let us pray that Mamdami's wax will melt and he will eventually fall to earth. But having said what I pray, I'd like to say that this is a very serious story unto itself, because I outlined the exact manifesto of the Communist Manifesto in a Savage Republic. Can I read 5 of the points of the Communist Manifesto, Lydia?
I just want because I want to talk also about Mamdani creating a hit list of successful people.
Oh, yeah.
He released a database identifying property owners who could potentially be impacted by his new tax on these pied-à-terres, these second homes. So it seems like he's punishing the successful. He put out this hit list because does he want people to be harassed? Does he want them to be robbed? Does he want them to be killed, Dr. Savage? Why would he put out this list?
You got to ask his mother, but one of the tenets of the Communist Manifesto is eliminate private land ownership and rent as applied to public property. Establish the right of inheritance, confiscate all property. I mean, this is what he's doing. He's doing it by degree. He's doing it slowly and by degree, and the people are suddenly understanding what they elected here. Now, the shocking part is that 30% of the people who voted for him are so stoned out of their minds, they don't even know what they have elected here. He's an absolute monster, and he is enacting one step after another of the Communist Manifesto. So we can sit here and wring our hands. He can be deported, Lydia. I did a whole YouTube piece on this. He can be deported under the Communist Control Act of 1954. Long story, worth discussing at another time. That law is still on the books from the Eisenhower era, when this country was riddled with communists. Mamdani can be deported under the Communist Control Act of 1954. Now, the ACLU will disagree with me. I say deport them along with him and let them all go to Cuba so the ACLU can give him the legal advice he needs in the comfort of Havana rather than the comfort of Manhattan. Send all of them there and let them all work on the legal briefs in Cuba, not here in America, because this man is a clear and present danger to the survival not only of New York, but of the entire nation. But the man behind it all is the seltzer man, Bernie Sanders. He created all of these monsters with his big lie about democratic socialism, which is total horsewad.
Right. It's just a cover for communism. Dr. Savage, we got to leave it right there. Let's see. Maybe the president's watching. Maybe he can do something Congress support this guy.
Support this guy. Yeah. All right. And then this here.
Apparently, Republicans have an agreement. Senators John Cornyn and Tom Tillis formally announcing that they will agree to forward the nomination of the acting AG Todd Blanche to be the Attorney General. That agreement focuses on anti-weaponization fund, also an IRS settlement. New agreement prospectively clears the path for his confirmation. I would say the odds are really good right now that he will be the Attorney General and not just acting. So that deal will be done soon.
It didn't look good on Friday, but I think everybody in Washington knew that they would work it out in some way. President Trump gave some drama over the weekend saying he was going to call it back up, but now Todd Blanche saying not going to happen. And if Tillis and Cornyn are convinced that that is true, they will vote for him, and he will likely be the Attorney General before the recess.
Yes, as they say, take the weekend, and they did, and this is what we get now. So.
Let's get
Apparently,
before the recess, before it, there's something to it, and then there's this, and I don't know if you guys have heard anything about this, ladies, pay attention to this particularly, I would say.
Women are suddenly getting double periods and pregnancies out of nowhere. We have millions of women around the world reporting strange changes in their bodies from having 2 periods in a month to not having a period at all. Then you have women who have spent years trying to get pregnant and suddenly they're expecting right after CERN goes offline. Is it because of changes in the Earth's vibration? Is it the Schumann resonance? Or is something causing women's bodies to become more balanced, more in sync, and maybe more in tune with the Earth? Something that's allowing them to return to their natural frequencies? Or is there something even more sinister happening behind the scenes? Something that's affecting human DNA? Women are suddenly getting double periods and pregnancies out of nowhere. We have millions of...
Interesting, isn't it? I'm just saying there's something going on there. 2 periods in a month. Those of you that have gone through or are going through menopause, thankfully you won't have to deal with those much longer. Is there something going on? We don't know. We don't know. Wall Street Papes put this one up.
So here's a flock camera pointed directly at the schoolyard, monitoring where each kid walks, how they get home, if there's an adult with them, which car is picking them up. And this camera is owned by a friend of Jeffrey Epstein who shared over 2,000 emails. How are you guys not outraged about this? A pedophile is recording our children and tracking them.
It's concerning that that flock camera is pointed right at the kids' park, but this is even more concerning to me. You see this right here? This is from DFlock. So right here is a park, and all these blue dots are flock cameras in the area that they're facing. And guess what this is? This is a kid's splash pad, if you can believe it or not. Here's confirmation. The image is here, and it verifies that there is flock cameras here, and it is a splash pad. So just take a look at this. Here it is, and that's the splash pad. And here are a bunch of little kids that are playing in that splash pad in Florida. But keep in mind, all these cameras are watching these kids in their bathing suits right here at the splash pad.
Cause for concern that some things may just be not so good, you know. So I played you guys a couple of clips from a few days ago with Marco Rubio doing an interview with Laura Trump, and he was talking about Cuba and the espionage and you know, the fact that Cuba is basically you know, basically an elite communist foreign adversary in a way. You know, especially where intelligence or deep cover operatives are concerned. Yeah, just and just a little verification on it.
I think just to go back for a second to another part of the world that, you know, Americans maybe aren't focused on, but should be. We heard from Secretary of State Marco Rubio there in that introduction, Cuba as a problem that I don't think Americans focus enough on. Give me your take on the threat from Cuba, because look, we hear about Iran all the time. We know about Russia. We know about China. But Cuba is something Americans need to absolutely pay attention to.
What the secretary said to you in your conversation with him is 1,000% correct. Cuba has been an epicenter of anti-American terrorism, espionage, and action for most of the past 70 years. And it's good to see that the Trump administration is really, for the first time since the Kennedy administration, taking real action to stop it.
Yeah, this is an important time for our country, an important time for the world. And we're so grateful, at least I am for sure, that we have a president who is making sure that all the right things are happening. So Joshua, we appreciate you being with us. Thank you so much for your take today.
Thank you, Laura.
All right. Yeah. Laura Trump. Give me a second. I'll be right back with you. Just, clean it up from my lunch. All right. Let's keep moving along here. And then we got Patriot Daddy EV 2.0.
There is something incredibly entertaining in watching this current crop of Democratic confiscators of America totally tank the entire Democrat Party platform. For years, we have heard over and over again that IDs are racist, that they're going to force people to be left out of the system as it comes to voting. And yet they can't seem to stop demanding IDs for their own socialist programs. I mean, at first glance, you think, are these people trolling us? But then you realize that it's not us that's being trolled. It's their own party, the party that they're in the process of taking over. They're dismantling every argument that the Democrats have made for years and are making right now as they refuse to pass the Save America Act. Instead, you've got socialists in New York City, in Wisconsin, all over this country demanding that you verify who you are before you access their events and their programs.
There's going to be a limit on the number of items that someone can take that are discounted at that level from that essential basket. So our RFP makes very clear that this is a program for New Yorkers to be able to put food on the table, not a program for people to be able to make a quick buck through reselling.
Did you catch that? Because they understand that the politics of confiscation almost always end in black markets where people are buying more than they need and then reselling it for a profit because other people are being left without. The only solution they can possibly come up with is the old rationing. That's right, rationing.
I'm going to pass it over to our EDC head, G-Pack, to add some additional details.
Yes, if you look at our RFP for the operator, we are looking to make sure that we target New Yorkers, whether it be at sort of a library card-esque thing, and also we manage who's buying and that is focused on everyday New Yorkers. So,
is it just me, or did it seem like they did not want to answer that question? I mean, Zoran Mamdani passed it over as fast as he could. But did you notice something there? They're talking about limiting how much access people are going to have to their version of socialism. And not only that, she very quickly slipped in that, yeah, in fact, they're going to have to prove who they are before they can access socialism. But they're not the only ones. Now you've got Francesca Hong, who's a Democratic Confiscators of America candidate for governor of Wisconsin, and like a good socialist, requiring ID to get into her events.
Interesting. Yeah. IDs for thee, but not for me, kind of thing. You know, so Iran leadership is unbelievably duplicitous. I practiced that word before the podcast today. I did for like 5 minutes. I kept saying it, duplicitous. Tried every. I did. That was my vocal warm up. Yeah. They asked for a meeting. Some would say beg. Talks begin with more scheduled in the immediate future, and they say openly and proudly that they're not having any discussions, that nothing is being talked about, and they're only dealing with Oman. Then they then go on to give their usual blather in saying the Strait of Hormuz will be operated powerfully by them when it is already completely controlled by the U.S. United States Navy and our blockade, or as some say, the United States wall of steel. Nothing gets through to Iran unless we want it to, and nothing will get through unless a deal or total surrender is accomplished. Whether Iran wants to admit it or not, we are in fact talking of a solution to a problem that they have caused for decades. It is very simple. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Yep. He said it. Yep. And then so oil dropped. This is one of the reasons why I look at the market in the morning. I want to see where oil is. Okay, $79. Trump had it down to like $67 a barrel, and it's working its way down now. So it's down 4.7 now, and I just watch it to see if the local prices drop at all. So And then this is Fauci's aide, okay, former Fauci aide, David Moran.
Ambassador Dr. Anthony Fauci now facing criminal charges. This over an alleged cover-up involving research into the origins of COVID. Rich Edson on this story. Intriguing, Rich. What you find out there in Washington?
Yeah, it is, Bill. The Justice Department has charged David Morans, a doctor, with conspiracy, claiming he concealed federal records to counter evidence that COVID-19 may have leaked from a lab in China, all to help restore a controversial coronavirus grant. Morans, a former aide to Dr. Anthony Fauci, testified before the House's COVID Select Subcommittee nearly 2 years ago about emails he'd sent in February 2021, claiming that he'd learned to make emails disappear after he received Freedom of Information Act requests.
Ever delete or attempt to delete a federal record?
No, but let me explain why. When I came there in 1998, we were instructed to delete emails or to move them into PST files frequently because they jammed the computer.
The Justice Department says Morans used his personal Gmail account to exchange non-public information. The indictment also claims an unnamed co-conspirator gave Morans wine for his, quote, behind-the-scenes shenanigans, then suggested he could push scientific commentary in a prominent medical journal advocating that COVID-19 had natural origins. That's a competing claim with the lab leak theory. The indictment says the co-conspirator could also provide meals at top restaurants in Paris, New York, and Washington, D.C. In April 2020, the NIH terminated that back coronavirus grant awarded to EcoHealth Alliance, who then contracted the Wuhan Institute of Virology to conduct that research in China.
Okay, I want to go back to this section right here. Okay. This person.
The lab leak theory. The indictment says the co-conspirator could also provide meals at top restaurants in Paris, New York, and
Washington, D.C. That a co-conspirator. I wonder who the co-conspirator could be. I wonder if the co-conspirator could have been a guy by the name of Jeffrey, like Epstein. Because they don't say the co-conspirator's name. Why? Why do they only focus on this guy? Okay. Why only on this guy? Let's keep going.
Washington, D.C. In April 2020, the NIH terminated that back coronavirus grant awarded to EcoHealth Alliance, who then contracted the Wuhan Institute of Virology to conduct that research in China. From the start of the pandemic, its president, Peter Daszak, worked to discredit any theory that COVID-19 had leaked from that lab.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Rich. More to come. Rich.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see where this particular case ends up going. Yeah. All right. So here we go.
You've got D&I Pulte over there as the new director. We also know you have the task force set up on declassification, maybe talking about international, maybe looking at some declassification. Are you able to give us an update on that?
Declassify almost everything. And, you know, by the way, we have Jay Clayton is going in. You know, Bill Pulte's a very talented guy, but he's just there temporarily until Jay Clayton. And Jay Clayton is going through the process. And Jay Clayton, highly respected, and so is Bill Pulte. But Bill is there just for a fairly short period of time. But while he's there, I said, you can declassify whatever you want.
Do you think we're going to get some soon, or maybe 2020?
I told him you can do it as fast. You got to ask him. All right. But I think he's a friend of yours. I think that Bill will declassify. I told him you can declassify whatever you want. So Bill's there just, you know, for maybe a month or 2 months or something. And Jay is going through the process. He's got a hearing in 2 weeks.
Okay, so that was from 2 weeks ago, but guess what? Today, Jay Clayton was sworn in. Okay? He was sworn in this morning. Okay, this move was done in stealth mode. No wonder POTUS has been posting stealth bombers and afterburners Complete silence from the rest of the media on this news. Shh, shh. Also means I have no idea what the hell that word is for the swamp folks. Let's get the rumbling going. Yeah, I think that there's going to be something going on here. So Santa Serpent put that up just as a reminder of what Trump said a couple of weeks ago, and that went into effect as of this morning. And nobody has talked about it that I know of. We'll check the live feed here in a couple of minutes because we're almost to the top. All right. Obama appointed U.S. District Judge John J. McConnell Jr. just held up a previous ruling blocking the Trump administration from freezing asylum applications from 40 countries which are on a travel ban list. We are being forced by activist judges to accept foreigners from dangerous countries. Insane. Yep. That'll end up in front of the Supreme Court. Okay. And then California man was arrested after police catch him stealing unvoted ballots in Maricopa County, Arizona. This is going to be interesting to see where that one goes. And we'll check the live feed here to see if anything brand spanking new has come out. I did not cover Trump's press conference from this morning. It was in regards to the military bases and military families, and getting the housing, the housing situations on a lot of bases taken care of, as well as the water filtration systems and such for housing. NEC director Kevin Hassett. Let's see what he's got to say.
And again, if you go back and look at the chapter I wrote with my team in the economic report of the president last time, which the president signed off on, if you look at what happens once socialism takes over, then things get bad really fast. And so Venezuela became socialist. Their energy production got cut down to almost zero. The grocery stores, whenever somebody's socialist, they get empty. Countries that adopt socialism within a few years have skyrocketing death rates, both because of violence and because of starvation. And so the history of socialism is really a history that should be gone. And the fact that there are many, many people in the political party that think that they should support something, they don't know what they're supporting. And again, if you go back and look at the chapter I wrote with my team.
Yeah. All right. I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. That'll be enough for today. It says, people like this really exist. It's not a sitcom. Let's see.
You are a Trumper. You do not belong on my side of this sidewalk. It's freedom of speech. But when I have an event, you have to be on the other side of the sidewalk.
That's fine. This is a public sidewalk.
Yeah, but not when we have a permit. It's not.
You don't need a permit to be on a public sidewalk.
I have a permit to be here. So if
you don't
I have
to have a permit to be on a public sidewalk.
But we have one.
For an organized event, you're potentially impeding some traffic.
Yeah, but we're not impeding traffic. We're not in the street.
You just said people can't walk on this sidewalk. Foot traffic.
Yes. And they can walk on the sidewalk. They're walking.
So why can't I walk on the sidewalk?
Because you are at my event and you don't agree with my stuff. You cannot infiltrate my event near my ice cream tent.
Did you organize this event?
I did.
Okay, I have every right to be here just as you do.
Not on my event in my permit.
I do.
No.
I do.
No.
Respectfully, I do have every right to be here.
Are you a Trumper too?
Absolutely. Two, is there somebody else here who's a Trumper?
Yeah, you're running around talking to people.
I'm not running, I'm walking. Are you a Trump supporter?
Absolutely not.
Where's the other Trump supporter? Where's the other one? Okay.
Oh, yes, there are people like this. There are people like this. All right. I will be back with you guys, hopefully again tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. I've got to get this AC cranked on and go and check on the girls and get them out for a potty run before we get up to 100 degrees today. We're going to have some really high temperatures over the next 3 days, 4 days, something like that. We're going to be in the high 90s to 100s. We'll see how it goes. Remember, God loves you, Jesus loves you, and I love you. We'll see you again tomorrow. I'm going to take you out the way that I brought you in. keeping an eye on the horizon.
Every morning with the rising sun, I lift my eyes before my work's begun. This whole world's changing faster every day, but my shepherd still knows the way. The headlines shout, the nations roar, yet his mercy's new forevermore. So I'll stand upon this solid ground, listening for that trumpet sound. I'm keeping an eye on the horizon, where the morning kisses heaven's light, waiting for my blessed Savior, faithful through the darkest night. But beyond the gates of glory, beyond the streets of purest gold, my heart longs for the Father's presence, where love has never once grown cold. I'm keeping an eye on the horizon, for the day my faith becomes my sight. Like a watchman standing on the wall, I know my Lord will keep his call. I don't know the day or hour, but I trust his sovereign power. So I'll love my neighbor while I wait, share his mercy, his amazing grace, planting seeds in every heart I can, until he says, come home, my friend. I'm keeping an eye on the horizon, where the morning kisses heaven's light, waiting for my blessed Savior, faithful through the darkest night. But beyond the gates of glory, beyond the streets of purest gold, my heart longs for the Father's presence, where love has never once grown cold. I'm keeping an eye on the horizon, for the day my faith becomes my sight. Jesus made the way before me, Calvary's love has set me free. He opened wide the Father's doorway, so a child like me could finally see what joy will fill eternal morning, when every tear is washed away. To hear, well done, my faithful servant, and forever with my Father stay. I'm keeping an eye on the horizon, every promise shining bright. Soon the trumpet will be sounding, turning faith into eternal sight. I'll fall before my risen Savior, thank him for amazing grace. Then with every saint, through every age, we'll worship the Father face to face. I'm down into a world on fire. Everybody shouting, climbing walls of wire. Fear on the TV, lies across the screen. Hard to know these days what anything means. But I hear my Father's voice down in my soul. Stand up straight, don't let the darkness take control. Love your neighbor, hold the line, stay alive. Open up your eyes and let your spirit drive. Don't let the noise pull you under. Don't lose your heart in the thunder. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your eyes on the light. There's still love in the middle of the fight tonight. When the road gets narrow and the world feels cold, keep your heart wide open and never let go. Keep your head on a swivel, but your soul on the rise. There's a whole lot of beauty still left in these eyes. Yeah, the world may shake, but we're not gonna break. We were born for more than survival. Little old lady waving from a porch swing. Kids on the sidewalk still learning to dream. Somebody praying in the middle of pain. Somebody dancing in the pouring rain. There's still good people helping strangers stand. Still working hard with calloused hands. Still holding family, still holding faith. Still finding hope when it all feels late. Don't let the fear define you. There's still a fire inside you. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your eyes on the light. There's still love in the middle of the fight tonight. When the road gets narrow and the world feels cold, keep your heart wide open and never let go. Keep your head on a swivel, but your soul on the rise. There's a whole lot of beauty still left in these eyes. Yeah, the world may shake, but we're not gonna break. We were born for more than survival. Oh, don't forget who you are. You were made from the dust and the stars. Oh, even when shadows fall, love is still the strongest thing of all. Keep your head on a swivel, don't lose your grace. Every scar tells a story, every soul has a place. And if somebody stumbles, you help them stand tall. That's the kind of strength that can heal us all. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your faith alive. There's still hope for tomorrow as long as we try. Yeah, the world may change, but love remains, and that's how we survive. Keep your head on a swivel. Keep your heart full of love, full of love, full of In the chaos of life, where paths diverge, seeking peace, not just in the dark or the light. Heavenly Father, hear our humble cry. Guide us through the storm, show us the sky. Loud voices, conflicting views, hearts that break, yet in the midst we yearn to make a quiet mind in the loudest din. Listen for your voice, Lord, please begin. Dear Heavenly Father, hear our plea. In this world of confusion, help us see. Quiet our minds, open our eyes to your still small voice, Lord, let it rise. In the silence we find our way. With every heartbeat we choose to stay, holding on to faith as the shadows sway. Your love surrounds us, night turns to day. Let the worries fade like whispers in the wind. In your gentle grace also begin to mend. Together we'll rise, hand in hand, side by side, with a heart full of hope. In you we confide. deception and schemes they seek to divide. But deep inside, we long to unite. Lord, show us beyond the lies we see. Help us find the truth, set us free. Loud voices, conflicting views, hearts that break out in the mist. We yearn to make a quiet mind in the loudest din. Listen for your voice, Lord, please begin. Dear Heavenly Father, hear our plea. In this world of confusion, help us see. Quiet our minds, open our eyes to your still small voice, Lord, let it hear. Heavenly Father, hear our plea. In this world of confusion, help us see. Quiet our minds, open our eyes to your still small voice, Lord, let it rise.
An ice cream cake, baby. I'm just letting myself be. Yeah. Well, today's been heavy, I'm not gonna lie. Too many thoughts rolling through my mind. So I grabbed my pipe, took a look around, and told all my worries, y'all can settle down. I ain't running, I ain't hiding, I just need a little room. Sometimes peace shows up quietly and chases out the gloom. There ain't no emergency, ain't no race. Sometimes you just need a little bit of space. It's an ice cream cake kind of day. Let the heavy drift away. Take a breath, take it slow. Ain't nowhere I gotta go. The world's gonna spin with or without me. I'm just gonna sit right here and let myself be. People ask me, smoke, profit, what's the plan? I say, brother, I'm just one old man. Read a little scripture, watch the clouds roll by. Thank the Lord above for another sunrise. I ain't looking for all the answers, I ain't chasing what's out of reach. Sometimes the quiet says a whole lot more than words can never teach. It's an ice cream cake kind of day. Let the heavy drift away. Take a breath, take it slow. Ain't nowhere I gotta go. The world's gonna spin with or without me. I'm just gonna sit right here and let myself be. Cream cake ain't hard to love. Sweet vanilla drifting on the breeze above. I ain't trying to disappear, I'm just putting my worries in another gear. Life gets loud, that much is true, but I don't have to join in too. One deep breath and a little smile, and life gets lighter for a while. No sir, I ain't escaping, I ain't hiding from a thing. I'm just slowing down enough to hear the evening sing. The birds still chirp, the wind still blows. Funny how peace shows up when you let life go. cake kind of day. Sweet vanilla drifting my way. Take a breath, take it slow. Ain't nowhere I gotta go. On old marine with a grateful smile, just enjoying this a little while. The world can hurry if it wants to race. I'm gonna stay right here in my happy place. It's an ice cream cake kind of day. Well, that's better. Coffee's warm, the sky's looking good, and today's a whole lot lighter than it was an hour ago. That'll do just fine. That'll do just fine. In the shadows of the night, when the world turns dark, I'm the one who lights the way, like a beacon that won't spark. Through the storms of life, I hold you tight, believing in you until the very end of sight. In every tear, in every laugh, I'm there to catch you. Through the pain, through the joy, I'm right by your side without a doubt. I see you, more than just a shadow in the light. Open your heart's door and let love start to ignite. I see you standing tall, even when you fall. And I see you rising up, stronger than before. Never small. When the world tells you to give up and you feel lost, I'm the voice that whispers, keep pushing, don't be crossed. In the quiet moments, when your spirit feels so low, I'm the one who lifts you up, like a gentle healing glow. And the night feels endless and you can't see the dawn, I'll be your whisper, guiding you along. With every heartbeat, I'll remind you of your strength. Together we'll rise up, going any length. So take my hand, let the worries fade away. In this dance of life, we'll find our way through every shadow. Love will light the path. Side by side, we'll conquer all that life has. I see you, more than just a reflection in the mirror. Open your heart's door and let love start to grow. I see you standing strong, even when you fall. And I see you rising up, stronger than before, never small. I see you, more than just a dream in the night. Open your heart's door and let love start to ignite. I see you standing tall, even when you fall. And I see you rising up, stronger than before, never small.
It ain't me, it's my neighbor Ruppler. Yeah. It ain't me, it's my neighbor Lipper. My neighbor Jim wakes up mad at the news. Coffee in his hand, but he's already stewing. Shaking his head at the morning TV. Talking about the world like it's all tragedy. Every little headline sets him off track. By lunchtime, he's ready for a full-on rant. I just wave and say, hey man, how you been? He just mumbles something about it all again. I ain't here to fight, I ain't picking no scene. But man, the guy's wound tighter than I've ever seen. Dipper, my neighbor's got TDS. He's in a mess. Every single day, just a whole lot of stress. I'm just on the porch with a cold iced tea, watching him argue with his own TV limit. He's fired up, I'm kicked back, feeling blessed, laughing at the noise while I'm getting my rest. If you need me, I'll be right here chilling free, while my neighbor's fighting imaginary enemies. He's scrolling all night, barely getting sleep, arguing online with a meme from low 3. Caps lock stuck and his comments fly. Meanwhile, I'm just watching clouds roll by. He said, man, how can you stay so calm? I said, turn it off, come sit on the lawn. Sun still shining, world still spins. Might even crack a smile if you let it in. He shook his head like I just don't see. I said, buddy, maybe you just need less TV. But nah, my neighbor's got TDS. He's in a mess. Every little thing just a test of stress. I'm just grilling burgers in the summer heat while he's yelling at headlines down the street. He's fired up, I'm kicked back, feeling blessed. Life's a whole lot better with a little less press. If you need me, I'll be right here chilling free, while my neighbor's fighting imaginary enemies. Now Jim's a good guy, don't get me wrong, just been tuned in way too long. Channel after channel, same old spin, got his head all tied up in a knot again. I said, come on over, take a break tonight, we'll laugh a little, maybe see some light. He said, no, I gotta stay informed. I said, man, you look a little stormed. But my neighbor's got TDS. He's in a mess. I wish he traded in for a little less stress. I'm just living life with a smile on me. Ain't no headline gonna steal my peace. He's fired up, I'm kicked back, feeling blessed. Sometimes less noise is the real success. If you need me, I'll be right here chilling free, and hoping one day come sitting with me. Yeah, he'll come around, I'll save him a chair.
No flashing lights, no grand parade, just worn out boots and songs I've made. A weathered road beneath the stars, a heart that's carried too many scars. I've learned that truth don't need applause, it doesn't bend to passing laws. It finds a soul wherever you are, with a voice and a guitar. Just a voice and a guitar, they can carry hope so very far. Through the valleys, through the night, a simple song can spark a light. No fancy stage, no fortune's prize, just honest words that never hide. Sometimes all this world needs are a voice and a guitar. Watch the headlines come and go, watch the seasons teach us slow. Love still wins where mercy grows, even when the cold wind blows. Every melody can plant a seed, every lyric meets a need. You don't have to be a star, just a voice and a guitar. If tomorrow never comes my way, let these songs be what remains. May they lift the tired and weak, give the lonely strength to speak. If one heart finds a little peace, then every note has earned
its place. Just a voice and a guitar, that's enough to heal a broken heart. When the world is loud with fear, a quiet song can still be heard. Long after every crowd is gone, the truth keeps quietly singing on. Sometimes the greatest gifts we are, a voice and a guitar. So pull up a chair and stay a while. We'll trade a tear, we'll trade a smile. No matter who or where you are, there's still room for one more voice and one more guitar.
Well, grab a cup of coffee, pull up a chair, plant another mustard seed. Let's see what grows. Coffee's on, the day's begun. Somebody says, what if, just for fun? One talks history, one talks grace. One says, slow down, let's find our place. Round and round the stories roll, every heart, every soul. Laugh a little, shake your head. Half the things we've heard ain't dead. Questions fly, but no one's afraid. Truth gets brighter in the shade. One more seed, one more friend. That's where all the good things begin. Hey, hey! Welcome to the co-op of insanity. Plant another mustard seed. Watch what faith can be. Laugh together, learn together. Love's our melody. Everybody's family. The co-op of insanity. Yeah. Hey. Some found hope where dreams had died. Some found peace they couldn't hide. Some found Jesus strong and true. Some found friends to see them through. World gets noisy, world gets strange. Seems like everything can change. But around this table, hand in hand, we keep building what will stand. Shoulder strong when life gets rough. Love reminds us we're enough. One more prayer, one more smile, makes the journey worth the while. Hey! Welcome to the co-op of insanity. Plant another mustard seed. Watch what faith can be. Laugh together, learn together. Love's our melody. Everybody's family. The co-op of insanity. We don't have to know it all. Sometimes faith's a simple call. Lift somebody when they're low. Share the light you've come to know. Every answer starts with one. Another day beneath the sun. Truth may stretch us, make us see. That's how hearts are set free. You never know what tomorrow brings. Plant another seed. Love can grow the smallest things. Plant another seed. Hey. Plant another seed. Hey.
One more story, one more smile, one more melody. Welcome to the co-op of insanity. Keep planting those mustard seeds. We'll save you a chair. We'll save you a chair. Before the world moved indoors, before every screen lit up, before everybody stopped talking and forgot how to show up, there was a place every weekend where the lights would come alive. You didn't have to be somebody, you just had to arrive. Popcorn in the air, leather skates on the floor, laughter bouncing off the walls, and music through the door. The DJ dropped that bass line, and every worry disappeared. For a few little hours, life became clear. The groove was the glue that held us all together. Black and white hippies and farmers, didn't matter whatsoever. Nobody came to be seen, everybody came to belong. The groove was the glue, and somehow we all got along. Hey, hand-me-down jeans and plain white t-shirts, church kids dressed up neat, the talented skaters helping newcomers, everybody sharing the beat. The girls would laugh, the boys would dance, nobody cared about being cool. For a few little hours every weekend, that skating rink became our school. We learned kindness, we learned patience, we learned how to share the floor. And somehow life felt bigger by wanting less and giving more. There weren't any followers, there weren't any likes, there were just real people living real lives. The DJ dimmed the lights for the last three songs, and somehow for a little while everything belonged. Was the glue that held us all together. Nobody trying to be famous, nobody chasing forever. Nobody came to be seen, everybody came to belong. And every time I hear that funk, that old world still lives on. The groove was the glue. The groove was the glue. For a few little hours, everything was where it belonged. Sometimes I think we weren't skating in circles, we were building a community, one song at a time. Today's your birthday, so lift your smile. We're gonna celebrate in mustard seed style. You may think you're all alone today, but you've got friends who came your way. Happy birthday, Cheryl Rich. May your dreams all find their wish. Laughter, love, and sky so blue. celebrating you. Whoa, yeah. Everybody's carrying shadows in their chest, trying to outrun tomorrow, never getting any rest. Scrolling through the madness, headlines full of fear, voices getting louder, but nobody can hear. We build these walls around us, brick by brick each day, but the storm inside our minds just steals the light away. And somewhere in the silence, a whisper cuts right through. Look at all the flowers, they're still breaking. Worry and change the sunrise, can fear stop the rain, can sleepless nights bring back the time we've already watched slip away. No, not one more hour, not one more breath was ever so lay it down, let heaven carry what you can't hold. Faith was never meant to walk this road alone. Mothers praying softly with their hands held tight. Fathers fighting battles they don't talk about at night. Children watching grown-ups trying hard to stand, learning hope or hopelessness from every trembling hand. The whole world keeps on spinning like it's coming off the rails, but peace was never promised by governments or wealth. It comes inside the moment when surrender finally wins, and you remember God's still bigger than the chaos we are in. Can worry and change the sunrise, can fear stop the rain, can sleepless nights bring back the time we've already watched slip away. No, not one more hour, not one more day was ever found by throwing all our peace away. So lift your eyes, the maker of the stars still knows your name. And tomorrow's not too heavy for his hands to hold. Today, look at the birds in the sky. They don't plant, they don't hide, yet the Father still feeds them every day. And if he holds a sparrow, why would he let you fall away? Oh, the world may shake beneath us, but love remains the same. Can worry and change the sunrise, can fear stop the rain, can panic build a better road, or heal a world in pain? No, not one more hour, not one heartbeat more. So why keep dragging chains you were never made for? Let the peace come rushing in like the tide upon the shore, and live the life you've been given instead of fearing what's in store. No, not one more hour,
mountains hear the whistle call the day. Brass and steel awaken where the sparks begin to play. Hands that shape the railroads now are reaching for the stars, turning wheels of progress with 1,000 beating hearts. Every blueprint starts with hope, every answer starts with why. Every dreamer's looking past the limits of the sky. Faith inside the furnace, courage in the flame. Tomorrow's waiting on the ones who dare to state their name. Lift your eyes beyond the smoke. Every great idea began with hope. Turn the gears, let the future rise. Fire in the furnace, open our eyes. Steel and steam with the stars above. Building tomorrow with faith and love. Every spark becomes a flame. Every dream can change the game. Raise the light for all to see. The age of iron dreams is calling me. Picture quiet reactors humming through the longest night, powering homes and hospitals with steady, faithful light. Factories returning where the old mills used to stand, building what's imagined by the heart and by the hand. Flying cars of fusion, maybe both are yet to come. New frontiers are opened every time we overcome. Not by fear or fortune, but by minds that won't stand still. The greatest days before us may be waiting on our will. Hear the engines, hear them sing. Every generation builds another spring. Turn the gears, let the future rise. Fire in the furnace, open our eyes. Steel and steam with the stars above. Building tomorrow with faith and love. Every spark becomes a flame. Every dream can change the game. Raise the light for all to see. The age of iron dreams is calling me. One idea becomes 1,000. One invention changes a nation. One generation inspires another. The wheel keeps turning. The torch keeps burning. The story isn't over yet. Turn the gears, let the future rise. Lift our dreams beyond the sky. Towards the future, bold and free. With hearts that still believe. Every child who dares to dream adds another shining beam. Hand in hand we'll build tomorrow, turning triumph out of sorrow. Raise the light for all to see. The age of iron dreams lives in me. The steam will fade. The brass will weather. But imagination never rusts. Tomorrow isn't waiting. We're building it today.